Hey guys, this is John. How's it going? Happy Sunday night. 836-2923. You are the first one in the chat, along with Darth Vader. Hey Braden Laughlin. Hey Kevin the Davis. Tasteless Calculator. Zion Canyon. Ghost Hardware. Chirera96. Browse the Web. Agent Michael Scairn. Clowny Man. MF Der. Stru Zucker. Tnon123. Anton Squared Me. Terminoil. Conjorf. I Am Girl from Egypt. Spezzola. Tom Haas, Kevin the Davis, Mason Blue, Henry Yu, B Goals, Takur, Tim Red Band, X Storm, Alonzo, Monster Say Rar. There's a lot of you guys in the chat already. Great. I wasn't sure how many people are going to hop over here, given that the PCL coverage is still going. So, what a thrilling finale to the Pro Chess League, the 2018 Pro Chess League season. This is the final game. I guess I should have said spoiler alert, but probably most of you are coming over here having just watched the conclusion of this. But I'm really glad I got home a couple hours ago, about an hour and a half ago, and I was able to see the end of this match, especially the playoff. So, yeah, a couple draws between Andreasen and Wang Yue, and then this game here. Big props to Zavan Andreasen. I thought he would be an underdog against Wang Yue, but he really impressed in this Blitz tiebreak. That was something to watch. Just kept his nerves. He was pushing in every game, it seemed. That was quite impressive. And congrats to the Armenian Eagles. Yeah, they deserve to win. The Armenia Eagles. I mentioned yesterday on the stream that I thought the Pandas were the favorites going in. But the Eagles, I mean, they've just stuck around all season. Just got the job done. Kind of quietly, as I was talking about yesterday. Seemed to me they didn't have a lot of fanfare at the beginning of the season, but great team spirit too. It was cool to see all of their players like hugging and getting real excited throughout the semifinals and finals. John, how did your date compare to the finals? It was a good date this afternoon. We did not go to the Cat Cafe because that place requires reservations. So we didn't go there, just went to a regular coffee shop. Yeah, it was good. And I also saw one of my students this afternoon. After I went on a date, I met up with one of my students. He's from Utah. His name is Sam. Sam, if you're out there, hello. He said he might be watching. And he is basically deciding on what college he wants to go to. So he was in town touring the University of Minnesota along with his mom. So I was meeting up with him and his mom. We got sushi together. He stole my phone at one point and he was typing in the Pro Chess League Twitch chat. So you might have seen that earlier. Someone typing messages that were not for me in the Pro Chess League chat. Fortunately, he didn't say anything bad. But people were like, who is this? So how's everyone doing tonight? I'm going to play some of you guys, the viewers. I was thinking about playing 5+5 games, just commenting on my play, basically treating them as climbing the rating ladder mini videos. So doing like a climbing the rating ladder stream, but against you guys. How's it going, Raj? So if you want to challenge me to a 5+5 game. I think it's good to have some increment in there. And we'll get this party started. Okay, Terminal, you're the first one. Let's do this. You and I have played before. I'm going to play in English against you. I want to see how you handle the English. Turn my volume down a little bit. And Browse the Web, thanks for the subscription, buddy. Okay, I think you like it, Terminal, when I put the pawn on d4, so I'm going to attempt to avoid that for now. I just have this feeling that you prefer those structures. Okay, let's play knight f3. MFter said, would love to hear some insight on 5+5. Yeah, I like 5+5. It's a nice time control. You don't get into these super long waiting game situations like you might in a 15+10 or something. I would say it's ideal for streaming. Again, if you're looking for maximum improvement, I don't recommend games this fast. This is still Blitz for sure, even with the 5-second increment. But I think for streaming purposes, getting in a bunch of games, still being able to provide lucid commentary, this is not so bad. Okay, so I'm choosing more of a queenside approach here. I'm looking to play b5 and weaken Terminal's queenside. And you can see I haven't really put a lot of my eggs in one basket in the center, pushing my pawns in the center. Okay, so bishop d7. think I'm going to take here just to grab that file, the B file, and then put the queen on A4 before he can play a move like queen A5. Hey, Core 4, I've been great. Yeah, doing well. Busy weekend, especially with the streaming. I was not expecting to stream this weekend, but chess.com was looking for someone to take over after the PCL, the semifinals and the finals yesterday and today, so it worked out pretty well. And Jimmy Buckets donated $1. Says, here's your nightly allowance. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Where to put this bishop? I kind of think A3 is appropriate, trying to take aim against this pawn. Only thing is he could play C5 and attack my queen. I might go up to A6 after that, I was thinking. And he has bishop C8 even. Could also go back to C2. I don't know about this move. I'm curious how Terminal is going to respond to it. How do we get a game with you? Just challenge me in 5+5, and I'll try to go right down the list. I'll try to play as many people as I can. I'm not going to stream as long as I did yesterday. Yesterday turned into almost 3-hour stream, so keep it a little shorter tonight, but we'll still get some games in. Core 4 didn't go to the Cat Cafe. I was just talking about it a few minutes ago, but yeah, didn't go to the Cat Cafe because it requires a reservation, unfortunately. Someday, though. Okay, D5. Swap the dark square bishop, yay or nay? I think yay. Let's start with that. So it's real tempting to invade with the rook, get it to the B7 square. Could do that now. Could take first, but I think I like the invasion, the immediate invasion. Let's do that. So pinning this bishop. And now I have some tactical ideas in mind, centering on this light square bishop. In before 20K viewer host. Yeah, let's hope so, Alonzo. We've got 125 viewers right now. I imagine they're still doing wrap-up interviews from the PCL. I'm going to go watch those later myself. I missed most of the coverage today. I don't know about you guys. I bet some of you guys were able to watch the entirety of the coverage, including the consolation match between the Ljubljana Turtles and the St. Louis Archbishops. I missed most of that today. I just was able to tune in for the finals, the end of the finals. Do an increment viewer tournament. Probably not tonight, Braden, but sometime in the future. I think the 3+0 tournament yesterday was good, but it was a little too fast, I think. The games just went by so quick. Hey, John, how do you like your bearded logo? Oh, was that you who created it? On Jovis? Because someone tweeted me that, and I liked it a lot. I don't know if that's you who did it. I think you have a different username. Award ceremony for the PCL is just starting. All right. Well, thank you guys who are tuning into this stream. Maybe you got both streams open. But I appreciate it, given that Danny, Robert, the whole chess.com crew, the victorious Armenia Eagles are on the stage accepting their award right now. Ah, cool. Anjovis. Yeah, I appreciated that. I like the Bearded John logo. Okay, Terminal is advancing. E4. Yeah, that's definitely a possible move. Like E4 followed by E3, maybe? Could be looking at that. I'm going to take... Well, I was thinking about taking once. Yeah, let's take once for sure. Now he can probably take on E4, yep. Now I think I like knight G5. Yeah, let's go knight G5, attack E4. This could get sharp because he might push E3. I have moves like bishop takes C6 then, if I like. I could also try to keep the position more closed and play something like F4, not let him take on F2 with check. I'm not sure. I've got a time edge, more than a 2-minute time edge, but we'll see what happens here. It seems like we can't challenge to a live game, only correspondence. Jorian Ray, you might not be in the live server. You have to be in the live server on chess.com to challenge me. I think I have open challenges, so Yeah, you can see here people are queuing up, so you should be able to challenge me. I'm going to try to be fair to the order in which people challenge. I'll just start at the top and then go down. So I won't get to everyone tonight, no way, but I'll try to play as many as possible. John, do you think you'll do a simul again soon for viewers? Yes, absolutely, Tim Redman. That was a big hit when I did it a couple months ago. I think it was a great format, so yeah, I'll do that again. And Jorian Ray just subscribed. Thanks, Jorian Ray. Yes, Raj, I saw your challenge in there. You are right here. Okay, Terminal is really tanking on this move. If I were Terminal, I would play E3 without really thinking about it because, yeah, it's just one of those moves that seems like it has to be played. Now I have a tough decision. If I want to take here, that's, I think, the most principled move. But honestly, I don't like how loose my position is there. That looks very weakening to me. So I'm going to play F4. So I don't want him to take and kind of shatter my king safety. I have a lot of weaknesses if he's able to take. Matt A donated $2. I'm going to have to go to Streamlabs to read this. Hey, John, I'm a competitive underwater basket weaver hoping to compete for the USA in the inaugural Underwater Basket Weaving World Championship in 2048. I love watching your videos while practicing my breath hold. Thanks for the entertainment. Appreciate it, Matt A. Underwater basket weaving. Okay, goes there. So bishop takes c6. He takes on g5. I take on d7. Maybe. Take. Huh. That could be good. Yeah. Let's do this. Got that big time edge. Terminal is good in the bullet. We played a couple bullet games yesterday. He's 2300 in bullet, but something tells me that this ganging up on the bishop is going to work out in my favor. Alonzo says, this game looks like Ivanchuk Yusupov Brussels 1991. Yeah, you're right. It does, actually, based on the pawn structure. Black having this pawn on e3. That's an apt comparison. Okay, take here now. There is that 5-second increment, remember, so I can't play completely recklessly in the hopes that I just flag him. That's not going to work. So I'm still going to play good moves. This knight is under attack. Knight d5 suggests itself. I think I like knight d5. Centralize the knight with tempo, and then I can resolve this situation on the next move. Looks like I'm going to be crashing through on f7. So let's take. Open up the attack on the queen. Yeah, and this should be losing for him because once I take here, well, he plays queen g4. Okay, queen g4. I think that should be losing too, though. I mean, he is attacking e2, but it's nearly checkmate. Let's calculate here. So rook f takes f7, queen takes e2, rook takes g7 check, king h8, rook h7. Yeah, and then I have king g8, knight f6, king f8, rook f7. It's a straightforward checkmate. Yeah, especially with the knight getting access to f6 once I take this pawn. Everything will come with check. Jorian Ray cheered 100. Thanks for the 100 bits, Jorian Ray. Yeah, this too will be checkmate, I think. Well, he could have gone to f8, but he doesn't have any threats around my king. So, yeah, it's just not enough. And that's a big fork. And mate. Okay, thanks for the game, Terminoil. So, Terminoil, I think this setup you chose is okay. I don't know that it's the best setup if white is committing to this English-style position with the bishop on g2, pawn on d3. It looks a little bit slow to me because I think you'd prefer to have your center play or your king side play coming along quicker when I'm pushing on the queen side. Seems to me the critical moment was roundabout, yeah, probably roundabout here. And maybe even before here. I wonder if, after bishop a3, this line I was mentioning was c5. You probably weren't listening, which is good because if you want the maximum educational value from these games, you don't want to listen to my commentary, right? You want to try to formulate your own thoughts and play as normal. But I was thinking c5 could be decent to try to block my bishop on this diagonal, make me lose time with the queen. And then, if I try to invade with queen a6, looks like I'm in a good position with the queen, but I think just bishop c8, and you're going to kick me back. I mean, where can I go here? I got to go to b5, c6, or a4. And on all of those moves, you can go back to d7. I think I probably would have brought the queen back to c2. Maybe now you play queen a5, and I might be regretting the position of the bishop here. Doesn't look like anything for white. And ChessBay94 just subscribed. 3 months of being the first sub ever. Thank you, ChessBay. Huge shout out to ChessBay. She's had a long weekend because she's been volunteering on the Pro Chess League stream as well, modding over there, and helping out with my stream too. So appreciate it, ChessBay. Okay, let's get another game going. Catalytic Vision, you're up next. You're up next, buddy. Oh, Canada. Okay, let's play d4, d5 against Catalytic Vision. BL Swagger donated $2.41. Enjoy an Americano on me. Thanks, BL Swagger, for the roughly $2.41 USD. Exactly $2.41 USD. Oh, and I got my Starbucks today, guys. Yep. Putting in the late night streaming hours. Got to have that caffeine boost, right? I don't have the smoothie today, though. Do not have that. Okay, I'm just going to swap and then play e6 and look to play bishop d6. Bit of a boring position. That can sometimes happen out of the London system, which white is playing here. How can I tell where I am in the line? Asked Wander Geisel. It's right over here. So yeah, you can kind of see at a glance if you're on here. If you challenge anytime soon, I bet you're pretty far down. So, very unlikely I'll get to more than, I don't even want to say how many games, but I'll try to get through as many as I can on this stream. No nasty smoothie tonight, that's right. I learned my lesson from yesterday. Don't try to make healthy smoothies. No, I mean, I'll still make them, obviously, but maybe add a little bit more taste. Okay, here, I can initiate a common plan, the minority attack. Very good plan to know in chess. It involves attacking with your pawns, using less pawns to attack more. And I'm going to do it in a version I think works. I'm just calculating one thing. Yeah, I think it works here. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to play b5. And the idea of this move is to play b4 and try to take his pawn on c3 or force his c3 pawn to do something, either advance or take me, and thereby create a weakness in white's pawn structure. Because this is a strong structure as it stands. It's hard to penetrate it and, get something to chew on, but with b5, b4, threatening to take here, I can create some inroads. And if he takes, I was going to go here and then win his b2 pawn. So he goes a3. And I think a5 is going to be the most straightforward here. I'm just thinking if I want to play... Nah, I'm going to continue with a5. Because again, if he takes, I think I can still do this. Or the other rook. No harm, no foul. Motion for John to sing the national anthem of whoever he's playing. Oh, Canada. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know too many national anthems. I'll tell you, when it comes to national anthems, one anthem I really do like is the Russian national anthem. That is a fantastic song. I mean, the Star Spangled Banner is okay-ish. I'd say it's pretty average as far as national anthems go. But man, the Russian national anthem, great. I could listen to that all day. And I love my country, but got to give the Russians credit for that. Okay, knight b3. So he's maybe trying to come into c5. let's go knight d7. Knight d4 is also possible, but I like knight d7. I want to stop that plan. Thanks, Fyro. Are you leaving? Fyrixo. Oh, hey, Frat Dog. Frat Dog is my buddy, my student Sam, who I was telling you guys about earlier, who stole my phone earlier in the day. He's traveling around the U.S. right now, trying to figure out what college he should go to. So, hello, Sam. Comrade Bartholomew. Squash Addict says, what about the Aussie anthem, Land Down Under by Men at Work? I mean, Australia is such a wacky place. I'm not 100% sure that you're kidding. Hey, how's it going, Fisher Boy? And good to see you, Squash Addict. Longtime viewer, that's Squash Addict. We got a lot of Aussie support in the stream. The Aussies are very vocal, and even vocal when it comes to chess streams. They always let you know when they're in there. Okay, rook e2. So that defends the b2 pawn. So that means that queen takes b5 in the future could be more of a threat. I mean, he could have thought about it, but I didn't think he was really going to entertain that idea when I had rook b8, queen a4, knight b6. Probably just wins material for me. So yeah, rook e2, can definitely see why he played that. Now, I still want to go b4 and bust up his chain. Just trying to anticipate how he's going to react to that. I think he might take once, and then swap the rooks, and then play c4. I think c4 is very likely to happen. And I don't hate my position there or anything, but I don't know that I'm better. Well, he might have some back rank problems, perhaps. See, I don't really want to play a4, because if I play a4, even though his knight moves away, I won't have the ability to play b4 with the pawn protected. So I'd rather be able to play b4 with this pawn on a5, protecting it to create maximum impact on his structure. I'm going to do it right away. Time's about even. I know he can bypass it with c4, either right away or probably more likely after a couple trades, but I think this is the most principled way to play it. Ah, Ecstatic Broccoli, you listen to the Russian national anthem? All right. Yeah, it's epic, isn't it? Dot number, asking about my stream schedule. I don't have one right now. I just got back into streaming more regularly because I've been traveling a lot the past few months. But I will let you guys know when I do have a stream schedule. Again, it could just be a while. Okay, anticipating a swap here. If he doesn't trade, I'll have the option of taking him on a1, so I think it's in his best interest to trade. The only downside for him is then his knight might have to guard the a1 square in a lot of cases. Okay, so he declines the trade. I don't like that move by him. I think it was better to try one of the options I was mentioning, because now, okay, let's take first. I gotta watch my king side a little bit, by the way. I mean, it's on my radar that knight g5 would be threatening checkmate in 1. Queen takes h7, but I think I can easily just defend against that. But okay, this is what I was talking about with this whole minority attack plan. I created a weakness on c3. That's a backward pawn. I can go about trying to attack it in the future. I think rook a3 or rook b8 are the most direct ways to do that here. Probably rook a3. I'm definitely leaning in the direction of rook a3. Let's play it. I like that move because it hits the knight, and assuming the knight moves, I'm going to be hitting the pawn on c3. The pawn is pinned to the queen. This creates lots of nice attacking ideas for me. Tactical avenues. Fisher Boy asks, going to play the IOM this year, John. I think you mean the chess.com Poker Stars tournament. Yeah, the Isle of Man. I haven't heard any details on it, but I do know that you have to sign up very early. So yes, I'm going to look into that. It's probably in September again, I imagine. Okay, so he retreats. Now, how to increase pressure on the d2 square. Or do I want to play something prophylactic first? Just so, knight g5, rook takes e6 stuff doesn't have to bother me. Actually, I really like rook c8. And I'll tell you why. So now, if I can put my knight on f8, that's going to perfectly guard h7 and e6. That'll be a very nice, compact way to defend both of these potential weak points. And if I can, I'm just going to move this knight away. Like now knight b4 is in fact a threat. He can't take it with his pawn because he loses queen. And I can win c3 if all goes according to plan. Is the US Open a norm tournament? Have you played it before, John? Yes, I played it before. It's not normally a tournament you can earn a norm in. Yeah, there's too many lower rated players. It's one huge section. The emphasis on USCF ratings rather than FIDE ratings. I don't even know that it's FIDE rated. It might not be. I guess in theory, it might be possible to earn a norm there, but it would be highly unlikely. Much more so than, a normal European 9-round tournament, let's say. Hey, Three Portas. How do I get the arrows? All I do is right-click drag. So if you wanna create an arrow, you just right-click drag. Okay, so he played the move I was alluding to. So now I like this response. It's a real compact move. Famous saying in chess, Bent Larson saying, knight on f8, there is no mate. Knight on f8, there is no mate. It's a very convenient defender for your king, which is usually on g8. Okay, so here, yeah, he's loading up against e6, but you guys see the problem? Knight takes d4 again. I'm still guarding h7, so there's not a new threat being created on h7. But this is awesome because not only do I win a pawn, his pawn's pinned, I'm even overprotecting e6, Nimzovich style. So he's in big trouble here. The rook is under attack. This is a double attack. If rook e3, then knight c2 is a fork. So it's looking like everything is coming up Milhouse here. Let's go knight c2, just making sure that this undefended knight doesn't become a problem. I don't think it does. And I'm briefly looking at if you can like switch his rook over here and do some crazy sacrifice, but I don't think it's going to work. Oh, thanks, ChessBay. We're on chess.com/TV. Good stuff. Okay, Catalytic Vision. Thanks for the game. So that was an instructive one from the standpoint of showcasing the minority attack. This plan I initiated with b5. Again, using less pawns, namely the b pawn, but the a pawn plays a role too, the d5 pawn too. Using less pawns, let's say in this area of the board, the queen side, against more pawns. White has 4 over there, I only have 3. And again, the goal is to create a weakness in the opponent's pawn structure. And I'm doing that by preparing b4. So you could see he tried to stop me from playing b4 for a while. If he had played a normal move, I was going to go like that. And ideally get this similar type of structure where I can play against that backward pawn on c3. So he played to stop me, but b4 came eventually. Catalytic Vision, I think this was the moment where you probably should take on a8. So trade one pair of rooks. And then honestly, maybe play c4. That's one way you can try to defend against the minority attack. Because here, let's say I take. Yes, you have an isolated pawn on d4, but this b4 pawn could be a weakness in the future for me. And it's actually pretty hard to attack this guy. You've got 1, 2, 3 pieces defending it. I think this provides much stiffer resistance than the game continuation, where I almost had a free attack on the c3 pawn. So thanks for the game, Catalytic Vision. And Function 6 just subscribed. Appreciate your support of the channel. Function 6. Let's get another 5+5 going. Pavlov's dog from Brazil is the next opponent. Let me ring the bell to start this game. Let's go, Pavlov. Okay. I'll play d5 again. We'll stick with the classic structures. Play a Slav. And welcome to Chess, a rating party of 22,276 viewers just joined. Thank you, guys. Thanks to chess.com. Those of you who are coming over from the Pro Chess League coverage, the final between the Armenia Eagles and the Chengdu Pandas. Okay, let's play bishop f5. So those of you who are just joining us, I am International Master John Bartholomew. I'm obviously a Twitch streamer, chess.com partner. This is an interesting line. And what I'm doing in this stream is I'm playing viewers of my channel and trying to comment as I play. Mostly instructional commentary, but we're also having fun here in the chat. I'm sacrificing a pawn in this position. If queen takes b7, I'm going to go back to d7 and guard my knight. This is a gambit line. I've actually played this in some over-the-board tournaments recently. It's a very sharp line. Definitely a risky one for black. You're giving up a pawn. But this queen can be a liability for white. Because now if I get the chance, I'm going to play rook b8, try to gain a tempo, gain of time on the white queen. And if queen a6, there's knight b4. So, okay, now rook b8. Queen usually goes back to d1. And then I'm going to advance e5. Browse to Web says, JB, what is your Myers-Briggs personality type? I am INTJ, last time I checked. Oh, and Chess Bay, thanks for the gifted sub to Danny Wrench. Shout out to Danny Wrench for his fantastic coverage and overall production of the Pro Chess League finals and semifinals this weekend. I was really disappointed I couldn't be there, but I've been traveling so much lately, it honestly probably worked out for the best. And this has worked out well, too, being able to stream for you guys. Did anyone here go to the Pro Chess League finals? Was anyone there in person this weekend? Okay, he's playing bishop e2. He's keeping the tension between these pawns. I'm tempted to advance. I could also just castle. Honestly, I think I might advance. Let's play e4. He'll probably go back to d2. And then I'm thinking about pushing Harry the h-pawn down the board. Yeah, let's play h5. Aggressive move, but this is going to make him think twice about castling on the king side, because if castles, I wonder if I can play bishop takes h2, followed by knight g4 already. And he could be in big trouble there if he's not careful. That could be a mating attack quickly. Oh, Danny's in the chat, huh? He's leaving right now. Yeah, thanks for the support, Danny. Go enjoy your time off now, much earned. I'm sure you guys are going to be living it up in San Fran tonight. Enjoy it, buddy. Okay, knight b3. So he's probably wise to what I'm doing here. He knows he doesn't want to commit his king quite yet. All right, I'm just going to go queen here. I feel like this is a useful move in almost every case. We might be playing a bit of a waiting game here before he commits his king. I think he's only going to castle when I've committed to castling. But I think I'm going to keep my king in the center for now, just to wait and see what he does. I might even push the h-pawn further. Like, that's a definite possibility. Okay, knight b5. Wants after that dark square bishop. All right, let's give a check. He'll probably block with the bishop. And now, do I continue with h4? We'll probably just play h3 if I do. Nothing doing there. I don't know now. Actually, let's play h4. I'll throw that move in, because h3 might be a weakness. There might be some sacrificial possibilities in the future if I play bishop takes h3. Avi G, no viewer tournament tonight. I'm going to be playing viewers. That's the point of this stream, but no specific viewer tournament. Yeah, and he does play h3. All right, I'm going to castle now at long last. I think this knight b5 move was good by him. I underestimated that because I don't want to part with my dark screw bishop. That's one of my best pieces here. I'm willing to trade it for his bishop. Even that trade I'm not thrilled about, but yeah, it's a net positive trade for him trying to get this piece off the board. And he castles. So being down the pawn, I have to try to create some counter chances here. I'm thinking about a5. I'm thinking about even g5, looking to attack on the king side. Leaning towards a5. Rook c8 is probably a decent move too. Get this rook involved. You know what? I'm going to choose a different option, a6. Let's kick this knight out. This knight is annoying me on b5. It's right in my grill. Oh, thanks, Harry Kane the Beast. You should start playing chess if you don't already. It's a fantastic game. I've been playing chess since I was 8 years old. I'm 31 now. I'm a chess professional. Not a player so much. I play tournaments mostly for fun, but I teach, I make videos. I have a chess website called Chessable. And it's one of the best games, honestly. It's a perfect blend of strategy and tactics. There's no patches that you have to worry about in chess. The rules have been static for a couple centuries. Okay, here, I get the chance to bring my bishop back to d6. And I think I'm going to do that, but first I need to defend this pawn. He is threatening bishop takes a6. Kind of an annoying pawn to defend, but rook b6, his knight a4 if I play that move. Let's go rook a8. Strange move, but I was seeing problems with rook b6. I didn't want to put the pawn on a5 because of knight b5. He jumps right back in. So one plan I have here is play bishop d6, try to get this bishop either back to b8 or c7, and then bring the queen to d6 and try to checkmate him on h2. That's pretty far-fetched. He would never let that happen, but it's a threat he'll probably at least have to think about, maybe weaken his position as a result. F3, okay. I see. I think rook e8 is probably appropriate here. Rook e8, pawn takes, I take on c3. Yeah, I like that. Get an entrenched knight on e4. Thanks, Twitch, for fun. Yeah, no patches in chess. There have been attempts to try to change chess rules. Those of you who play chess might know that Chess 960, also known as Fisher Random Chess, is a popular variant of chess, which basically means that you scramble the back row of pieces for both sides. You start with randomly positioned back rows. And that's a way to try to avoid the huge, massive opening theory that has been accumulated in chess. People have a love-hate relationship with opening theory in the game because in some sense, it's like dead moves. You know, it's lines that have been discovered by computers or other humans. And openings can be really boring sometimes. They can also be really fascinating, but they can also be very boring. And they can kill the creativity in chess. So Chess 960 is a bit of an attempt to compensate for that and force you to play from an unknown position, but still have the same chess rules. Okay, Queen e1. I think I'm going to have to take this knight. Or take on f3. I'm just debating which one to do. If I take on f3, he takes with the bishop. Then he has pressure on both d5 and h4. Don't think I like that as much. But undoubtedly, I have to deal with this threat. G5 is pretty radical. I don't think I want to do that. That weakens my king too much. And I'm also down on time here. I got to move faster. Story of my life. I really hate to play bishop takes b4, but the more I look at this position, the more I think I have to. I'm going to do it. Let's see which way he takes. He might take with the pawn. He does take with the pawn. All right, let's take here. Takes with the bishop. There's a 5-second increment, so even though this clock is ticking down, I do get the 5 seconds added per move. All right, I said this move is radical, but I don't see another good way to really deal with the threat of queen takes h4. Knight c5, yep. Let's bring the king up. That's a strong knight right there. Definitely wouldn't mind if he trades for my bishop. Please do, Pavlov's dog. This would be somewhat embarrassing to lose as soon as I got an influx of 1,400 viewers to a significantly lower rated player. But this is an educational stream. We have fun too, but mostly educational. Definitely don't mind embarrassing myself. Okay. Let's look for a trade of the rooks. Yeah, this is just a tough position. I played this to reinforce a6, but I'm not happy about it at all. c4. Yes. Okay, going back here. Try to reinforce the center. He's going to ring my bell, this Pavlov's dog. If I can get him thinking, I have a chance. If we can get this into a time scramble, maybe. But purely the position on the board is not looking good for me right now, guys. Let's take with the queen. These moves are pretty forced. My king is just like naked when it comes down to it, though. I'm really not liking that situation. Trade. Okay, I'll back this off. Probably he'll swap. Might play d5, but d5 is good too. So I can't play queen e5. Queen e5 he has bishop c3, so got to avoid that. Maybe I should have gone to h7, I don't know. Gonna need a Scandi swindle here, guys. A good old Scandi swindle. Try to win this bishop. Stop playing good moves. He's threatening queen h8 checkmate there. What? Bishop h5? What is that move? Does that work somehow? What was that? Why did he play that move? And why did he resign? Bishop h5. I mean, maybe he thought that I had to take with the queen, and then he was going to play queen g7 checkmate. But to play that, and then I take with the knight, and then for him to immediately resign, why would you do that? I mean, you even have play here. This knight is hanging. Granted, I will take this, but for instance, take here. I take on c3, he takes on f7 check. Knight g7. I mean, this isn't completely clear. I mean, maybe something even like rook b6, try to deflect my queen from the defense of g7. That was a strange end to that game, guys. But okay, Pavlov's dog, you played a good game. You definitely had me on the ropes. I mean, you should be offering me advice on that one. This is quite a risky line I played. In fact, according to theory, this move bishop f5 used to be unplayable. It was considered just much worse for black on account of take, take, and then queen b3. This is a common idea in this line, trying to attack the d5 pawn with the queen and the knight, and also b7, which is weakened because I moved the bishop to f5 a few moves ago. However, there's been some theory that's been developed around this pawn sacrifice and black trying to get an initiative. But yeah, he countered that quite nicely. In particular, I think this knight b5 move was strong, and as I said in the game, I underestimated that. He's trying to get my dark square bishop. If he had castled instead, I was ready to unload with bishop takes h2. The Greek gift sacrifice. King takes h2, knight g4 check. And if the king goes back to, say, g1, queen here, and I'm threatening mate, if he takes like this, then I recapture with the pawn, and that's bad news down the h-file for him. He's going to get mated. So just kind of fell apart for him later, but I think he's nearly winning up till the end. I mean, I would not be surprised if there was just a forced win at this point. Okay, let's get another game going. Unifer, 12-13, you're next. Hope you're there, buddy. Let's play e4 against Unifer. Mass TC says he probably rage quit for dropping a piece. You never know. You never know. Might have been upset with himself. Okay, e4, e5, the double king pawn opening. This opening is good to play if you're starting out as black against e4. So if you're a beginning player, I definitely recommend playing this because it leads to a lot of fundamental open positions. Classic double king pawn openings. And let's see how he responds to one of the main lines of the Italian game. Looking to prepare d4. Oh, Pavlov's in the chat, huh? Pavlov, you played great. Did you just miss knight takes h5 at the end? I think almost certainly you did, but shouldn't have resigned. Okay, now d4. This is a way for white to try to take over the center. Establish a large pawn center, pawns on e4, d4. Black can neutralize this line, but I'm curious if Unifer knows how to do it. So let's see how they play. Tulia Fonseca says, could you tell us why knight h5, knight g3 was not an option after he played queen e1? I thought about that, but I think if I move my knight away from f6, I might lose d5. He has knight takes d5. Granted, I could do that after he plays, or after I play bishop takes c3. He plays bishop takes c3 in reply. I go knight h5. But there I didn't like that he takes on e4 with the discovered attack against the knight on h5. I could play knight g3, but he takes on d5. And that position didn't look good for me because he's hitting the knight on c6. I am attacking his rook on f1, but somehow it looked very suspicious. So I didn't go for it. Okay, he castles. Now, this is what I like. I have this nice pawn center. Let's try to set it in motion, e5, and see where that knight goes. Checkers is better, says K Games. Gotta disagree. Hard disagree on that one. If you want to play a really drawish game, you play checkers, where it's drawn nearly every time amongst the best human players, and I think literally every time against the best computers, when the computers are playing each other. Although computers probably don't even play each other anymore in checkers, because checkers was solved in what, like the early 90s? Something like that. I will say checkers is probably good if you're trying to practice your calculation, because you do have to calculate quite a bit in chess, or in checkers rather, also in chess, but especially checkers. Okay, he brings the knight back to e8. Tempted to play bishop d3. Also simply castling comes to mind. I think I'm going to go bishop d3 though, and maybe be sneaky. So remember that Greek gift sacrifice I was talking about in the last game with bishop takes h2 check? I might try to do the same thing here. Bishop takes h7, king takes h7, knight g5 check. Try to expose that king and bring my queen in. Swoop into h5 for the potential checkmate on h7. I don't know that that line will work out completely, but black has to think about it here. What about shogi? Shogi's a great game. I don't know too much about shogi, but yeah, shogi's very similar to chess. In fact, there's a shogi master, Yoshiharu Habu from Japan, who switched over to chess. Maybe not completely, because I think he plays shogi tournaments, but he reached quite a strong level in chess as a result of his shogi background. I think one of the main differences between shogi and chess is that the knights in shogi don't move backwards. If someone can confirm that, that would be great, but I think that's one rule, like prominent rule difference. Which honestly for me would be good if you guys caught my stream from, what was it, Friday night, where I played queen e6 and my opponent played knight on d4 takes queen on e6. If that would have been shogi, that would have been perfect. My opponent would have been resigning there. Okay, queen d3. So I have a battery. It's called a battery. Queen and a bishop lined up. I'm threatening mate in 1 on h7 if I get another move. So he has to defend against that. Doesn't have a whole lot of ways to deal with it. He can play g6 or f5 to block. But really nothing else. Bishop f5 would lose a pawn. So yeah, and now that he's played g6, I can take this guy on h6 if I want. Just debating whether I should do it now or if I should insert that move. I think it's better to do this, though. Let's take and hit the rook. Someone says, yes, the shogi knight only go forward, 2 forward, 1 sideways. Oh, yeah, and also, that's right. I completely forgot about that. The pieces that you capture can come back on the board. Right, right. That's probably an even more prominent rule difference. Yeah, you're right. That's like Crazy House in chess. Okay, should I castle? I don't see a way of outright attacking him further, so I think castling is good. And I like castling queenside, actually. I'm going to do that. Reason I'm going queenside as opposed to kingside is I've already weakened him on the king side. I feel like I have good chances to attack over in that direction. And if I want to use, for instance, my h-pawn, run my h-pawn down the board, it's better if my king is tucked away over here where there's not so much action going on. He takes on e5. Yep. Can take with the knight or the pawn. Let's take with the pawn. I am offering a queen trade here. We could swap the queens off the board. If you're ahead on points, if you're ahead in material in a chess game, it's usually good to offer trades and try to get the game further down, get it closer to an end game where your material advantage really might tell. So that's never a bad general strategy if you're ahead in material. Just keep trading down. Any experience or opinion on Go? Another great game. Fantastic game, Go. Have a little bit of experience. I played it. I like it a lot. I want to learn more about it. Once I stop dedicating so much time to chess, I'm going to tackle Go. So knight d5. I'm looking at this bishop. I'm attacking the c7 pawn, and I'm also kind of flirting with this knight f6 check idea. I think first I should just take this back. I don't have to commit to knight f6 yet. So let's just take this guy. And note that he can't take the pawn on e5 because he would lose the bishop on b4 if he did. So, all right. And I gotta say, Unifer is playing pretty well so far. He's lost 1 pawn, but he's hanging with me. Here, I notice that I can check and then go knight d7. since the bishop is now on c5. That looks pretty good. Just seeing if there's some more direct way to play this, but that looks like a really convenient fork. That should win me some material. Don't quit chess. Yeah, no plans to quit chess anytime soon. I love chess. I love you guys. I love chess. Chess will always be my #1 game. How much chess do you usually play in a day? That completely depends if I'm like actively training for a tournament or even playing a tournament. I would say if I'm at home, you know, like I was this weekend, you know, the only chess I might really play is on these streams. Here I have a choice between taking the rook and the bishop. Taking the bishop is better because that's 3 points. The rook is 5 points, but if I take the rook, I'm giving up a 3-point piece, the knight. Knights and bishops are worth the same on the traditional point scale. So I'd only be winning 2 points in that transaction, winning a 5-point piece, but giving up a 3-point piece. Taking the bishop, I win a full 3-point piece. Now, granted, he can take here with check, but I just sidestep with the king. That's no problem. Takes the bishop instead. I'll take back. Okay. It's attacking my knight. I could go hit the rook. I also just like knight f6. I'm going to go knight f6. Twitch for fun. Thanks for the 100 bits. Let's see. Do you like Carcassonne or Carcassonne? I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. Or Settlers of Catan. I played Settlers before. A while ago, though. I don't really remember much about it. And I have no idea what the first one is. Sorry. Rhino says, completely new to chess, so any advice on where to learn the basics? Other than your channel, of course. Honestly, Rhino, I would just play lots of longer games. So you can play games of, let's say, 15 minutes per side or longer. Maybe even 30 minutes. And here, by the way, I'm just going to double my rooks. I could try to take his knight, but I actually really like my dark square bishop, so I'm going to keep it for now. So yeah, Rhino, I would recommend playing longer games. You said resources other than my channel. I did make 2 video series that I think are really excellent for beginning players. One is called Chess Fundamentals, and the other is called Climbing the Rating Ladder. So I would highly recommend checking out those videos because I made them with the goal of providing new players with like exactly the information I would want if I were starting out again in chess. Okay, so here I'm looking at mating nets. If I check, he takes my bishop. I bring my rook over. He can block with the knight. I don't have mate. So let's back the bishop off. Actually, no. I'll play the rook over here, which threatens some discovered attacks. So if I were playing just to win in the endgame, I would have taken his knight by now and traded my knight for his bishop, but I think my attacking position is so strong, I don't have to do that. I can instead just play for a direct termination of the game. Here, bishop takes g7 I'm looking at, knight takes e8. And there's other moves too, even bishop g5 looks really difficult to deal with. If I take here, he takes, I have rook h7, he goes king f8. I can bring the other rook in. That wins a lot of material, but it's not exactly checkmate. I think I like this move. Because now I make way for my rook to come in, and this is not really an escape for him. Going to e7, he's walking right into the battery of my bishop, and also rook d7. Although I guess he can try to come up to e6, but does not look like a viable escape. Omar says, but which ladder, blitz or rapid? I think either one's decent, Omar. Yeah, you could look at either of them. I would just search for the climbing the rating ladder videos in your rating range because I put the rating of the opponents on there. So just search for the ones in your rating range. That's your best bet. Okay, let's take here. Take again. So my bishop is guarding the escape for his king. Are the tournaments you play in person or online? Asked Little Buddha. The tournaments I've been playing lately have been in person, over the board tournaments, we would call them. But I do occasionally play tournaments online too, like I played Title Tuesday on chess.com recently. And this is a mating net, so bishop on f6, I'm preparing rook h8, and there's nothing he can do about it. His king is completely boxed in. It's going to be checkmate next move. Yeah, Twitch for fun, I know. I need the emotes bad. I apologize for that. That's due to two reasons. The fact that my channel is really new, but more importantly, just been like traveling so much the past couple months. Okay, thanks for the game, Unifer. So, Unifer, if you play this line again, you played it perfectly up until here, after knight c3. The thing about this line, you don't want to allow white to keep these two pawns side by side on e4 and d4. That can be problematic because either of the pawns can advance. You don't have enough space in the center to compensate. So the critical move here is knight takes e4, which is possible because this knight is pinned, right? I legally cannot play knight takes e4 in reply because it would be a problem with my king. This does get into some sharp theory, though. You got to know what you're doing here because white can castle. And you don't want to get too crazy grabbing material here. Like, for example, this is a line that can happen. Black goes up a rook plus two pawns, but this is known to be very good for white. You don't want anything to do with this for black. The best move here, to make a long story short, is bishop takes c3. You take with a bishop, and if white takes back, white can play d5. That's the best move according to theory. But if white takes back, you can play d5 yourself. You anchor your knight in the center. You prevent any rook e1 check business, and you're getting ready to castle. And if white just plays like a banal retreating move, let's say bishop b3, you can castle. Might even be able to take on c3, but you could just castle and get your king to safety with an extra pawn. You're doing great. So remember that. In this line, knight takes e4, that's the move to look into. That's where you should study in this line. Romero Cesar used 100 bits. And Globs also cheered 100 bits. Thanks, guys. Ramanim62 also just subscribed. Thanks, Ramanim. And Corretto Furasao cheered 2 bits. He says, I don't know how exactly I got those bits, but thanks for streaming, John. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm sorry my little bits thing is not displaying properly. Let's get another game going. X-Storm. All right, X-Storm, buddy. You're up here. 2,000 rated player. Let's play a flank opening this time. I've been playing d4, d5, but let's get the bishop to g7. What's your opinion on Gary Kasparov's masterclass? I have not seen much of it, so I can't offer an opinion. Harry Kane the Beast. Cheered 2 bits. Don't spend it all in one place. Thanks, man. Let's play c6. So I was just talking about how it's important not to give up too much of the center in that last game. So why am I just handing the center to white here? Well, one answer is this is kind of like a do as I say, not as I do situation. If you're a lower rated player, you're starting out in chess, I don't really recommend ceding the center most of the time. I think you should be fighting for the center. By the center, I mean these 4 squares mostly. And then these squares around it, it's kind of the less important center, but still part of the center. So e4, d4, e5, d5, you should really be fighting for those and trying to occupy those squares with your pawns. But as you become more and more high rated, you can more effectively play on the wings, and you know how to manage an opponent who has a strong center. You know how to counterattack properly. But for those of you who are lower rated players, again, I don't recommend that because it's very easy to get run over if you don't properly grab the center as a lower rated player. So that's a major reason. Now here, I've actually played a position very similar to this recently. Let's go queen c7. I'm going to try to prepare e5. And Saren Tercero just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you, Sero. Yeah, so advance e5. So now I'm trying to counterattack in the center. I'm not going to let white keep this enormous space advantage in the middle of the board indefinitely. Let's bring this knight out. Or do I want to play rook e8 first? Nah, let's bring the knight out. McSqueegee, hello. How late are you? Well, I've been streaming for about an hour. You're not too late. Okay, could play rook e8 here. Could also take on d4. I think taking on d4 is tempting. Rook e8, I maybe am going to run into knight g5 with an attack on f7 if I do that. So probably taking on d4 is a better way to play this position. Yeah, let's do that. Knock out his center pawn. Maybe obtain the ability to attack this better or get this knight to c5. Yeah, like now I think this is an effective move. How long will this stream be? Ask Core4. I have no idea. This is a bit open-ended. I did stream for about 3 hours yesterday after the PCL championships, but we'll see. I'm just trying to play as many people as possible in 5+5. Okay, he plays f3 to reinforce. So I'm holding this bishop hostage. I can take it at any moment. I don't think it's likely he's going to play bishop c4 to try to escape the knight. But do I want to take it right now? That's a question. I kind of don't want to. I want to try to do something else. Yeah, like let's go here. Sothamit, thanks for the subscription. Hello, John. I'm the first time on your stream. I was only on your YouTube. Thanks, Arturo. Yeah, I'm starting to stream more on Twitch. Okay, rook d1. X-Storm is playing solid so far. I think he's playing reasonable moves. This is perhaps an indication that he wants to move his knight and try to attack the pawn on d6. I can always try to defend that pawn, but I'm also looking for active ways to play this too. A5 maybe? A5 is interesting. Let's do that. I want to see how he plays against this. So this flirts with the idea of playing A4, trying to chase his light square bishop. I can try to expand with my pawns on the queen side. But I'm a little worried about this d6 pawn. I gotta make sure that I don't just completely collapse because of this weakness. I've only been playing this system for about a month for black, but I like it. The system with g6 and early fianchetto of the bishop. That's what we call it when we get the bishop on this long sweeping diagonal. What got you into chess and how old were you when you first played? So I learned from a friend of mine at school when I was 8 years old. So yeah, as far as chess prodigies go, that's definitely late. Most of these chess prodigies these days learn when they're like 4 years old or something. But I started devouring like every bit of chess information I could find after that. I was checking out books from my library as a kid. I was playing against anyone I knew who could move the pieces. My parents got me a chess computer at one point, this tabletop chess computer, which I actually made a video on. And I played against that a lot. Okay, he plays a4. That's a common reaction, but it kind of weakens the bishop on b3. If I take it, he's definitely going to take with a knight, though. I think that's pretty clear. I want to open the position, but... maybe. Okay, how about this line? Knight takes b3, knight takes b3, d5. E takes d5, knight takes d5. Knight takes d5, e takes d5. And if he takes with the queen at the end, I have rook takes e3. I do get an isolated pawn in that line, but I think I like the kind of open nature of the position. I mean, I don't have to play that way, though. I can play b6 or something, too. That looks fine. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to force it. Let's just play b6. And Ian just donated $5, says, I just wanted to thank you for all your amazing content. About a year and a half ago, I didn't even know how to play chess, and now I'm 1700 on Lee Chess. That's a lot of progress, man. That's good. Your videos taught me almost everything I know. Well, congrats to you for that progress. I hope you keep it up, and I appreciate the donation. Okay, so he is shifting his focus to this d6 pawn. That makes sense. I think bishop a6 is a good reply here. It's also knight h5, but he'll just drop the bishop back to h2. Let's go bishop a6 first. Floyd Akash also cheered 1,000 bits. Says, hope you make GM this year, JB. Love your streams, bud. Thank you, Floyd Akash. It's very generous of you. And Orange is Rad subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thanks, Orange is Rad. Okay. So again, some shadow boxing going on here. I got to watch my time. Let's bring this guy to h5. Let's attack his dark square bishop. He definitely doesn't want to trade his dark square bishop, so he's going to move it. Thanks, Floatakash, for the bit. Yeah, if I could get invited to the candidates in 2020 perpetual stalemate, that would be an uphill battle. Okay, here I have knight d3 as a possibility. It's a neat little idea. Knight d3 he takes, I take with check, king h1. That's interesting. Let's try it. Is there any downside to this? I don't think so. I'm going to try it. It attacks his rook. The other thing I was thinking about doing is playing bishop e5. But then he might play f4, so going with this instead. Queen e7 maybe? Yeah, let's do that. I really want to trade this bishop, because that's the sole defender of his king. You can see he's got all these pawns on light squares, which means his dark squares are weak, because he's occupying so many of the other color complex. The opposite color complex is going to be weak. So hence, like his bishop is controlling this vital g3 square. If it wasn't there, I could play knight g3. What's wrong with playing one strong opening you know in GM title tournaments? Well, the element of surprise is very important in tournament chess, especially with faster and faster time controls these days. You pretty much have to be able to surprise your opponents. So yeah, that's the short answer. Let's go knight g7. g4 is pretty radical, but he's probably getting uncomfortable with my knight on h5, just wants to kick it away. So GTX Gaming, like some players do have a very narrow opening repertoire and have success with it, but most players, they do better when they vary their openings from time to time, which is what I try to do. I mean, I have a certain set of openings that I play, but I try to throw curveballs as well. Okay, now I'm going to shift the focus of my play a little bit. I think I like queen f6 here. Well, I can play g5 against that, I guess. Let's go knight here. Maybe try to go to c5. But I'm still looking at these dark squares. Like queen f6 is still pretty tempting. Attacks the bishop. Okay. We'll drop this back. If he plays d4 now, I can take on e2 and then win the d4 pawn. So fingers crossed for that blunder by him. Thanks, Tommy Shelby. Bishop c4. All right. I agree. Let's play it like this. This is interesting. So now he can play f5, but e4 does become pretty darn weak. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do this. I'm temporarily down a pawn, but he's got a lot of weak pawns here. So hard to say who's better in this position. I'm going to attempt to keep this b7 pawn and keep the queens on the board. a4 is still there for the taking. Bishop f8 could be a resource. It's definitely sharp, though. I mean, this could go either way. I've been playing with fire in my last few games. Maybe not the last one, but against Pavlov's dog, and now against X-Storm. See ya, Frat Dog. Okay, he's using a lot of time, though. That 5-second increment, but it's a lot of time. All right, gonna take this guy. Now c5 check could be a thing, but he always blocks the queen, I guess is the problem. It's not really a threat. Let's go here. Now I'm threatening this. Maybe. He has queen d7 against that. Let's try to threaten it next move. So I'm trying to control this square so that, yeah, he saw it, I think. I'm going to try to undermine that pawn immediately. Attack his queen. Could try to go after this guy, but I'm going to attempt to make him think about moves like c5. Yeah, like c5 is pretty appealing. Pin that knight. Now he almost has to get out of the pin, but it's not simple to find a way to do it. Come in here now. Sharp position. Do this. Don't know who's better here. Do not know. So I'm trying to use that pin on his rook, which I think is going to be successful. He's not got no time. Ooh, he just barely got that move off. But I think now I can just take here. Yeah, and then I can take his knight next with check. Okay, and I won on time. 0 rating points for that hard-earned victory. It's a tough life, man. Oh, thanks, 3-Asan. An X-Storm, good game. Yeah, sharp game at the end. Time pressure. I thought right here, right after I played rook d8, you were in a critical position. Since this is such a big threat, I think you have to either defend e5 again or get your king out of the way. I was thinking maybe you should play king g1 at some stage just to avoid this whole pin situation with the rook. So then if I take on e5, it doesn't work. you can successfully take with the rook, right? I mean, even this is not so clear because I have a pretty strong knight, but much better than the game. Prior to that, though, let's see. I thought a4 was maybe not the best reaction. It's an understandable one, though, because I'm trying to play a4 myself. Maybe you should just move this knight. So let's say here, playing knight on d4 back to e2. Then you directly threaten queen takes d6. If I play a4, you can maybe play queen takes d6 here, but even just bishop takes c5 should be pretty good, right? If I take here, you can take this pawn. I might get some counterplay, though, I guess. Yeah, actually, this is not so clear. Maybe this is just good for black. If you take with the knight, then I have c4, don't I? c4 take and take here. And likewise, if bishop takes, then b5, and this bishop is going to get trapped. Actually, okay, so a4 maybe is not a bad move. But I thought somewhere around here you started to lose the thread a little bit. Maybe bishop f4 is a culprit. It just seems like you should attack d6 in a more direct way, or try to. I was honestly kind of wondering about even a move like after a5, something like knight b5. Take, and then try to take d6 next when I have a loose knight. Let's say queen c6, take here, rook is under attack, f7 is under attack. The computer would probably find a way to refute this, but in a blitz game, it looks kind of tough for black to defend. But thanks for the game. That was a close one. Tinon 123 is the next opponent. X-Storm says, your knight was so powerful. Yeah, once it got to d4, it was kind of bothering you a lot. Okay, another d4 opening. Just getting these constantly. All right, let's play knight f6 this game. Mix it up a little bit. I'll play e6. I'll play the Nimzo complex. Chance, 10 by 10, cheered 200 bits. Thanks, Chance. Let's play d5 now. This transposes back into a queen's gambit declined. Play bishop e7. Ecstatic Broccoli says, I've noticed a big difference with your stream games versus your recorded YouTube games in that there's not quite as much of the in-depth post-game analysis when you're live streaming, including checking the computer analysis. Thoughts on including more of that? Yeah, definitely. That's for sure a conscious decision, just to keep the stream going. Play against as many people as possible. You're right. If I was conducting a serious post-mortem, then that's what I would do. I would follow the approach just like I do in my standard videos. Okay, this is all theory. And in fact, a common plan for white here, for Tinon, is to use this minority attack at some point and try to arrange b4, b5. Very common plan. He's playing the theory perfectly. So, good job, Tinon. Is that cinnamon you've got in your avatar? I like it. Have you heard Yasser's rants about Nimzovich? Yes, I have. It's pretty funny. He's not a fan of Nimzovich at all. Aaron Nimzovich, of course, the father of hypermodernism in chess, the author of a couple famous books, My System, Chess Praxis. Yeah, and Tinon is going to prepare this minority attack. He's going rook b1. The only reason you play rook b1 is to try to get this pawn up because my bishop was defending there, so... okay, now I got to think a little bit. I can try to stop him in his tracks with a5. But if a5, he's going to prepare it again with a3. He's going to renew the threat. Usually you want to go knight g7 in these positions with an eye towards playing bishop f5. So let's do that. And after b4, I could play even a6 then as a way to try to slow him down. But again, he'll go a4. That pawn is going to advance to b5 at some point. Riser03 says, how long is the queue? It's pretty long. These are all the challenges I see right now. Wandra Geisel, I saw you asking where you are. Yeah, you're about 7 or 8 players down. Okay, bishop g3, that's sort of an odd-looking move. Is that in anticipation of knight f5? Probably it is. But I'm very happy to get this move in, because the light square bishop for black in these structures is usually a bad piece. So trying to swap it for white's light square bishop is generally a good strategy. My pleasure, Cool Bear. Thanks for checking out the stream. What is my name on chess.com? It's Fin0905 right down here. It's probably kind of small on your screen, but Fin0905. All right, let's take this as planned, and then knight f5. I can gain a tempo by attacking his bishop. I don't think he wants me to take the dark square bishop, so I suspect he'll move it away. Terminal, you have a recliner in front of your desk? You're like sitting in a recliner in front of your computer? Sounds pretty relaxing, actually. Bishop h2. Okay, so now this pawn is going to make its way up here. But my knight has access to this very important d6 square. I'm thinking about trying to block the queen side now. a6, a4, b5. Does get knight e5, though. Knight e5 could be annoying, attacking that pawn on c6. Andrew Tang would know what to do in this position for black. Grandmaster from Minnesota, my former student. He plays these sort of setups all the time for black. I'm going to start with a6. And again, I expect him to play a4. I think he should. Because he doesn't want to just say, oh, you played a6 and stopped my pawn from coming to b5. I'll look for elsewhere to play. This plan is still on for him. Plays a4, yep. And I can also try after b5 to take once and then slip the rook into a3 and pin him, kind of like I did in that game against the Canadian player. I forgot his name already. Rated about 1900. So I could try that. Normally I would play b5 here. I don't like knight e5. If this knight were on e2, as it sometimes is in these structures, I think I would definitely play b5. All right, I'm going to play this move. I'm a little sick of this bishop, so I'm going to offer to trade it off. Born on the 9th of May or the 5th of September, asks King Wiki. That would be the 5th of September. Yeah, that's my birthday. Are you finishing every challenge before the stream ends? Probably not, ICB Johnny. Fortunately not. John, do you play on chess.com these days? Only play on chess.com these days. I have a partnership with chess.com, so that's my main platform, but I don't play exclusively on chess.com, no. For instance, I played the titled arena on Lee Chess last month. Okay, and he's going to go b5. I think I should take. See which way he recaptures. Take with the king. All right. King takes. Is there any tactical possibilities because of this? I think I'm just going to take and play this pinning move. I like the look of this a lot. It just creates so many unpleasant tactics that he'll have to deal with, like knight e4. Also, I can shoot the queen out to a5. Core 4, I might. I have a busy week coming up, but I'll see if I'm able to. I am a Virgo, yes. Definitely not playing till 4 a.m. So I think he should sidestep with his queen. I was just going to say he should get out of any issues there. But do I have a chance now to play queen c7 followed by taking on b5? I think I might. That shatters my pawn structure, but it puts him in a pin. That's pretty tough to deal with. So let's say queen c7. Let's say king g1. C takes b5. Rook c1, rook c8. Rook b3 maybe. I have b4 then. I think that's good. So let's give this a check. And this is a pretty unusual decision to make, taking on b5 next, assuming he moves his king. But I think it's the correct one. I mean, even if he plays knight e5, I still might do that. Yeah. Weird decision to make, because now this leaves my structure very weak. I have 3 isolated pawns here. But concretely, he just has issues defending the knight. So that's an example of doing something that's strategically very suspect at the service of tactics. And it looks like he just missed that his knight is hanging. Unfortunately for Tinan. Let's take it. Oh, thanks, Core4. John, how do you feel about most players automatically gendering their opponents as male? I know the game is played predominantly by males, but wouldn't it be more fair to use a more gender-ambiguous term for your opponents like they, them? I guess I don't have a strong opinion about that, Worm Glue. I mean, when you say he or guys, 97% of the time, roughly, according to my stats, you're correct. I can tell you on YouTube, 97% of my viewers are male, according to the stats. So, you know, when you use male pronouns, it's not disrespect to females, but it's usually just the more accurate term. I do get the argument that discourages females from maybe participating or feeling like they're not welcome. I do use like they, them sometimes, but I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal. And I've never really heard anyone say it's a big deal in chess. Okay, this, I can just win a piece. Another rook. I'm going to take here. And if he takes my rook, or queen rather, I take back with the rook. And Tinan in the chess.com chat says, thanks for the game. That's a blunder, he said. Yeah, so you were doing well, Tinan, up until, yeah, just missing that this opened up my queen on your knight. So I think here you have to play something like rook here to reinforce the knight. And then I was thinking rook c8. And it's still pretty awkward for you, man, because, yeah, like rook b3 is really the only way to defend. But I was thinking maybe b4 then. Take, something like this. And it seems like white is struggling for equality here. Might be just a really bad position. Black's up a pawn. So I think you executed the minority attack quite well. A couple moves I question, like bishop g3, I don't think that was a necessary move, repositioning the bishop. And perhaps here, maybe you should just take first. Giving me the option of taking on h2, I kind of don't like because that exposes your king. So maybe you should take on d6 first, just do this and then b5. Seems like a more direct way. And then after, say, this, rook a3, queen c2 makes a lot more sense here. Now if I take, you can just take back because I'm not on the c file. I'm not getting any sort of tempo. Okay, next game. Thanks for the game, Tinan. Braden Laughlin. This is a former student of mine, Braden Laughlin, again of Canada. What am I going to play? Let's play d4. Feels like I haven't had white for a while. Yeah, good luck to you, Braden. Let's go knight f3. I'm going to play a system I've been playing a lot of recently. Yeah, the whole gender pronoun thing gets into a very heated debate. Again, I don't have a super strong opinion on it. I just say what comes natural to me, and I've never heard anyone really say that they felt offended. Okay. I forgot that I usually play c3 first in these positions. Let's go bishop c4. It's castle. E5, okay. I had a Title Tuesday game very similar to this, c3. I think I reached this exact position in a Title Tuesday game recently. Hey, Matt Erickson. Finally caught one of the streams. That's good to hear. And thanks to all the viewers tonight, especially the new viewers. I appreciate you longtime viewers too, but it's really exciting whenever you get a chance to perhaps introduce chess to a new audience, or those of you who have only watched like the Pro Chess League and are now seeing what chess improvement looks like. Really, that's an exciting thing. So I hope you stick around in the game. Queen e8, yeah, that's a good move because it looks a little awkward. It kind of boxes him in on the first rank, but he gets out of the pin here, and he can try to prepare e4 is usually the point of that move. I'm going to play a4, which just gains some space on that side of the board, queen side. I agree, Chess Bay. I really enjoyed the coverage of the finals and semifinals in particular, the Pro Chess League. Mighty 100, you're a new viewer? Cool. Yeah, I agree, Zion Canyon. I mean, it's no mystery in chess that women don't play at the same levels that males do. Yeah, it's a big issue in chess. You just don't see female participation at a level that we'd like in chess. The numbers are really low. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Unfortunately, there are some measures to try to correct that, but it's slow progress. I mean, I think I saw some stats that female participation in chess has climbed a little bit in recent years, like the past 5-10 years, but I think it's still quite low. Like we're talking less than 5%. Hey, John, I've been trying to get into chess recently, and I have been having issues with openings. Do you have any good resources for developing a better understanding of openings? Well, that gives me a great chance to plug my own site, Chessable, chessable.com. There's lots of free opening repertoires and repertoires that are more detailed that you can buy on there if you so choose. But yeah, I would have a look over there. You can search any opening, and chances are there's a repertoire on it that you can study. You can also use databases. You can use, like on chess.com, they have an opening explorer. I will tell you that most higher rated players use databases. Yeah, incoming Chessable plug. That's right, Zion Canyon. Chessable was designed to help people better learn and understand chess, and openings are a big part of that. We use spaced repetition and scheduling to help people learn, and I'd say 90% of the resources on Chessable are on openings. Okay, here I'm thinking about playing f3, trying to undermine his center. Yeah, this is very similar to a Title Tuesday game I played against Daniel Naroditsky, second round of Title Tuesday, which was on Tuesday, this past Tuesday. ChessBase says, there's a very smart guy I know on Twitch who wrote a paper about this topic, assuming the gender topic, and he did a lot of digging and research and came up with a theory that it has to do with the boys club, quote, boys club atmosphere around chess clubs and tournaments. Yeah, that's definitely one perspective I've heard. My opinion, I'm going to throw it out there, even though, again, this is like a contentious topic, but it's good to have open discussion on it. I just think that girls specifically girls. So, because what I've seen from the stats that I've seen, the participation in chess really drops off between boys and girls after elementary school. Like roughly after elementary school, you see a tremendous drop off in the female participation. So a lot of girls just stop playing chess at that point. And I think it's kind of like gaming. Like boys, young guys, young men, they get obsessed with games and they play them constantly. They get completely absorbed by them. They'll spend hours playing games. And with girls, like you just don't see that level of obsession as much. It's not that they're not capable of that or there aren't girls who become consumed by games. But I think to become really interested in chess and take it to the next level, like play over the board tournaments, you have to have like some level of obsession at some point in your chess career. And I don't know, girls just don't do that at the same levels that boys do. I think it's honestly a lot like gaming, I feel. Chessbase says, what other game or sport would you match an 11-year-old girl versus a 47-year-old dude? Yeah, that's one of the coolest things about tournaments is not even tournaments, honestly. Like you could go to Washington Square Park or Union Square in New York City and watch a homeless guy playing a Wall Street banker. Like you get these really cool, like societal, economic, gender matchups that you wouldn't normally see in other activities. I think that's a great thing about chess. Yeah. Okay, Queen E6. So he's stepping into a potential pin here. But Braden is basically saying if I take on E4, he's going to take with a knight and try to blockade that square. Which I guess I'm okay with, but I would like to exploit this somehow. I'm even thinking about C4 to try to further create some tension there. Or A5, maybe. A5 just kind of nudge the pawn forward. No, I'm going to take. I'm going to release the tension. And then, assuming he takes, I'm going to play the knight to D3, I think. Have you ever played against a chess hustler before, says Henry Yu? Yeah, when I lived in New York City, which was back in 2011, I lived there for a year. Yeah, I played the chess hustlers from time to time. It was good fun. I would usually only play if like a friend was in town and wanted to see me play them. But yeah, it was fun every once in a while. I never took their money. I was like very much against that. Chess is global, and we should do everything that we can to make sure it becomes even more welcoming and global. Pushes against that strike me as weird, off-putting. Yeah, I agree. I mean, chess growing is great for everyone. 100%. Yep, VZ, that's a good suggestion. I mean, the more detailed the repertoire, the more you see that. For instance, Christoph's repertoire on E4 for white that's on Chessable is an awesome amount of detail. It has like almost 50,000 words of instruction. He has like 17 hours of video associated with it too. So that's really good. Oh, Braden is very far down on time here. I was worried about my time, but he is even lower than me. Okay, rook e8. So my problem here, if I have one, is this weak e3 pawn, but he's got some issues on this diagonal and also f7. I would like to solve this issue of the e4 knight, though. Maybe knight f4. Knight f4, gain a tempo. Let's do that. I want to see where his queen goes. Now I was thinking take bishop here. Some potential of tactics associated with that. I don't know, though. I'm going to do it. That puts him to a pretty tough decision with limited time. Yeah, and he moved the queen. I had a feeling he might do that. Okay, now I have some interesting possibilities associated with taking here. Don't know how great it is immediately, but I can definitely try it. I can definitely try it. Also c4. c4 might just be a good move. Let's do c4. Try to break down that d5 point. Now I'm threatening knight takes g6. And I think he overlooked it. So this pawn is pinned. He can't take my knight. Now, do I bother defending this pawn or just bring my knight back? Let's bring the knight back, so I'm threatening f7. Knight d5. Okay. I think queen h5 looks quite strong here. It's a lot of pressure on his king now. Yeah, and that loses the queen. That might have been playable for him if he had left himself a bit more time to figure it out. Yeah, as it stands, it was just not enough time to properly play that position. Okay, I have check, check. Where's my mate? Okay, he resigned, but I was going to go check here, king here, check, and then bring the rook in. So I think in this position right here, after bishop g3, it's critical to look at rook takes e3. He didn't have a whole lot of time. He kind of instinctively, I believe, moved his queen from the potential discovered attacks of the bishop. But yeah, rook takes e3 was something to be considered because if I do a discovered attack with my knight, he might take the bishop on g3. For instance, knight takes d5, takes here. And if I take back, he takes here. He's got two minor pieces for the rook. I was thinking knight h5 would be interesting in this position. But now that I look at it, I'm not sure I get enough compensation. Let's say queen e6, I take his dark square bishop. Probably with my bishop kind of buried here, it's not quite enough. I don't know, bishop f4 or something, but it looks like it's coming up short. So Braden, I think you played fine in the opening, just moved a little too slow. Okay, let's get another game going. Beat Andrew. Beat Andrew. You are up. Next opponent. Let's play knight f3 in this game. I'm mixing this up. Now I'll transpose back into the d4, d5 situations. But yeah, getting back to the discussion a little earlier, Chess Bay was talking about someone she knows who wrote a paper on the phenomenon of why female participation is so low in chess. And that makes perfect sense. Like, I definitely believe that women, girls just naturally become discouraged because of the boys club atmosphere. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I've been to plenty of tournaments where it's clear that the women, girls who are playing, like, they must be uncomfortable with just being in a whole room of guys, lots of nerdy guys too, like maybe some socially awkward people, lots of socially awkward people. Yeah, I mean, it's not the most inviting atmosphere. Okay, this is a Queen's Gambit decline position by transposition. I'm going to play rook c1. I want to develop my bishop, but I want to see if I can wait until he takes my pawn first. Can I transpose into a good stream? Tommy, you're not liking my stream? A5, that's a strange move. Gotta say, I don't get the purpose of that move. Okay, I'm gonna play a3. Just kind of a wait and see approach. I want to attempt again to get him to take on c4 so I can take with the bishop in one fell swoop. But he's being stubborn. Okay, I'll develop it now, getting ready to castle. No, he doesn't like your stream, he loves it. That's what I like to hear. But I need to hear it from Tommy. I need to hear it from the man himself. Oh, thanks, Mr. Chess. John, I've always wondered what's that giant king in your background? That is a trophy, actually. Yeah. It's a trophy I won from the 2015 Minnesota Open. You can see Lenny's not so good, but you can kind of see it there. So it just makes for like a very convenient background piece. I should try to get a full set, though. I think the king is just kind of lonely by himself. He needs other pieces around. And it's actually pretty heavy, too. It's not hollow or anything. c5. Okay, c5. First thought is, can I try to win a pawn? Can I play bishop takes, hoping to lure his bishop away from the defense of the c5 pawn? So that's a strong consideration. I think these two moves just don't work too well together, c5 and e5, a5 rather. But if I take, he might take with a pawn. I don't know if that's anything special. Okay, let's take here first. I'm going to set him a little trap. Let's see if he falls into it. If he's stream sniping, he might not fall into it, but let's see. Perpetual Stalemate says, I don't like your stream either, but my masochistic personality makes me watch for hours. Wow, okay. That's a new one. Well, I hope I'm providing some outlet for that Perpetual Stalemate. Okay, so here's my trap attempt. Again, I think he should take with a pawn. If he takes with the queen, he runs into knight e4. And that's very bad because that's a fork on the queen and the bishop. My rook on c1 is going to assist. John needs a queen trophy so he can do curls with both together. Yeah, I won't even have to buy a weight set. Okay, and he correctly takes with a pawn. Good job, Beat Andrew. Okay, I'm just going to castle. Samuel X donated $50, says, longtime YouTube viewer, first time catching you live. Keep up the great work. Oh, thanks, Samuel X. Really appreciate that donation. Thank you, sir. John, how do you feel about Max Deutsch? Says microwaved poop. Nice username. Yeah, Max Deutsch. So he's the guy who famously was doing all of these challenges. So he was doing like exercise challenges, trying to, I think one of the exercise challenges he did, he was trying to do 50 pull-ups at a time, trying to work his way up to being able to do 50 pull-ups at a time. He was doing all these sorts of learning challenges. And one of his challenges was to try to beat Magnus Carlsen, the current world champion in chess, as a virtual chess beginner. I think that was pure publicity. And I think Max Deutsch's entire shtick is just all hype. I don't think he was ever serious about that challenge. I think it was all for show. Probably Magnus got paid something to be a part of that. I don't know what. Yeah, that has no educative chess value whatsoever, what he attempted. Because first of all, the guy claims that he could develop an algorithm for determining the best moves in a chess game. So basically what engines try to do, but he claimed that he could create one for himself and do it better than any engines and somehow memorize it and use it to beat Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, which is, of course, completely ridiculous. I mean, if you suggest anything like that in chess, you'll lose all your credibility instantly. Let's try to continue prying open this diagonal, e4. I want to get at that h7 pawn. So yeah, I mean, I think it was pure publicity. I don't know if he was writing a book or something. I want to say he was. Honestly, kind of disappointed like Magnus would take part in something like that. Although, hey, if he got paid, at least he's making some money. But, I mean, the whole premise of it was completely ridiculous. I think he got... So when him and Magnus finally sat down and played, he got something like 10 moves in, and he was talking about... Max Deutsch was talking about how his position was like, oh, like I was doing so well, and then I just made a blunder and lost. But I was hanging with the world champion for 10 moves. And then I think his conclusion was like, I would just need more time to refine this algorithm, and then I'd have a real chance. And I mean, dude, if you're going to say something like that, like think about all the chess professionals who dedicate their entire lives to getting a little bit better in chess, becoming a grandmaster, like making the next title. Like, if he's at all serious about that, that's just such an arrogant thing to say, that you know better than chess professionals, people who spend their lives on a game. Like, I would never, you know, take up a new game and instantly think that I know more about someone who's invested hundreds and hundreds, thousands of hours into an activity. Like, that's ridiculous. And if he had done any research on, you know, algorithms, any sort of approach to like find the best move in chess, he would know that nothing works. Chess is a game that you get better at by virtue of experience, playing lots of chess games, thousands and thousands of chess games. That's the only way to get better. So I don't want to be super hard on the guy, but yeah, that whole thing just rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah, the Wall Street Journal wrote an article about it. Again, like total publicity stunt. Okay, I'm up a piece here. Beat Andrew, lost a piece. My e4 bludgeoning, so this move right here, that proved to be successful because he was having issues holding this diagonal together. I think he had to play knight f6 there, maybe. So now I'm just gaining material. Crew64 says, lots of parents of my students send me Wall Street Journal articles of him and were amazed. Publicity definitely worked. Yeah, that's unfortunate. People are tantalized by a headline and they don't do any research. Beat Andrew. Thanks for the game. So this a5 move I think was a little strange. I think you should just castle here right away. Basically the way you want to play this structure, at some point you want to take and try to play b5. So let's just say hypothetically I play bishop d3 after you castle. This bishop is the one piece that is poor for you. It's a bad minor piece. So at some point you want to do this. And then you're looking to liberate this bishop by playing c5. If all goes according to plan, you're aiming for a setup like that. You play a6 first, so this pawn is on b5 is protected, and then you play c5. You can see it's protected by the bishop and the knight. This bishop is free. I think as played, your position gets a little tough to handle when you play g takes f6, just like you got some weaknesses here. I don't think it's terrible or anything, but you know, moves like knight d7 probably don't do you any favors. That's a backwards move that blocks your bishop. Probably should try to complete your development, bishop d7, or maybe even move this bishop back because that is an undefended piece. Always got to be aware of undefended pieces in chess. And I think your last chance was after e4. Probably you have to play knight f6. And after takes, take with the pawn. This pawn is defended by the bishop. Position's still not pretty, but you're in the game. Okay, let's get another game going here. Almighty 100. Almighty 100, 1061. Good luck to you. I heard another master have the opinion that any chess publicity is overall good for chess. Well, I was joking on Twitter a while back that chess only makes it into the news when certain things happen. For instance, when FIDE holds a chess tournament in a country with a horrible human rights record, when a top grandmaster says something about women in chess, you know, like Nigel Short, or even further back, Bobby Fischer famously saying that he could give any woman player in the world a night and still beat her. What are some other things that happen in chess? Oh yeah, like someone cheats in a tournament. If someone uses like stockfish hidden in their sock and uses it to cheat in a tournament, like that always gets a lot of mainstream publicity. Of course, when you have something like AlphaGo, AlphaZero, I should say, a computer program that comes along and just waxes usually humans, but now other computer programs, machine learning. So yeah, chess is often in the news for those things and not much else. And I honestly don't think that has any effect whatsoever on the popularity of chess. Bishop d2, that's a weird move. I'm going to play bishop e6 and offer a trade for this light square bishop. Definitely don't like that move because it takes away the natural square for his knight in the structure d2. And actually, maybe I shouldn't be so harsh. I shouldn't say that it has no effect on popularity, but I don't think we're ever going to see like a massive difference in the number of people who play chess as a result of these sort of news articles. However, though, I do remember following the Kasparov versus Deep Blue match in like, what was it, 96 or 97 in the paper when I was already like a semi-serious chess player then, but I don't think I had played tournaments or anything yet. So I remember that being really cool because that was such a revolutionary thing at the time. But it does seem like a lot of the articles that come out are just sort of black eyes for chess, like with all these FIDE things, these cheating incidents. Those are attention grabbers in the headlines, but they don't really portray our sport, our activity in a good light. So I'm breaking in the center here. I'm trying to get an attack going against this d3 pawn. Now I can win the d3 pawn. Take. I'm going to try to crash through right here. How is cheating prevented in OTB tournaments? Asks Noise. Opponents can simply go to the bathroom and load the position on an engine. Yeah, that's a big problem, honestly. So in many tournaments these days, you're not allowed to have your phone on you at all. And if your phone is on you, you either get forfeited or some severe penalty or warning. So, you know, that's the rule, supposedly. But if you wanted to cheat in an OTB tournament, there are ways you can do it. It's just you're taking the risk of getting caught, and aside from the fact that it's highly immoral to do that. So yeah, it's a problem. Because the thing is, to properly protect against cheating in chess, you'd have to have metal detectors, perhaps scan the playing hall for you know, devices or things that are just not supposed to be there, means of cheating. And tournament chess is organized on such a shoestring budget most of the time. These organizers don't have like the manpower or the financial means to do that. So you're left with very rudimentary means to try to prevent chess cheating. Like, for instance, the Continental Chess Association is the largest organizer of tournaments, open tournaments in the US. They organize like the World Open, Chicago Open, North American Open. And all they really do is they have someone posted by the bathrooms that says, give me your phone before you go into the bathroom. I think this is even for spectators too, or like make sure you don't take your phone into the bathroom. And there's no like someone wanding you or something as you go in and out of the bathroom. It's just literally just a guy there saying that, like, make sure you don't have a phone. So yeah, it's a problem. I don't know what the solution is. At the same time, though, I don't think that should make people paranoid. I play lots of tournaments, and only on one occasion, honestly, one occasion out of probably thousands of tournament games I played, did I feel an opponent was cheating. And in fact, it turned out I was right. He was. If you search this guy, Eugene Varshavsky, I wrote a blog article about him on chess.com several years ago. This dude famously, he was never caught in the act, but he played in the World Open, and I think in 2004 or 2006. And he famously beat a bunch of masters along with a strong grandmaster, Ilya Smirin. And it caused quite a stir because he was this middle-aged floored master, roughly rated 2200, and he just came in and started destroying everyone, playing way above his rating. The organizers asked to search him after round. I'm going to keep trading down here because I'm very far ahead in material. The organizers asked to search him, and he basically like fled to a bathroom and was in there for like 30 minutes and apparently like flushed his device that he had. What's funny is he later tried to cheat in a Sudoku tournament, of all things. Okay, my conversion of this position is leaving something to be desired. I'm still completely winning, but definitely could have played that better. Yeah, no joke. He tried to cheat in the Sudoku tournament, and he nearly succeeded. There's a video. If you search Eugene Varshavsky on YouTube, you'll find it. He's in like the finals of this Sudoku tournament. There's 3 players, him, 2 other people who made it to like this final matchup. And he's at this gigantic like demonstration Sudoku board where they're supposed to do the whole Sudoku thing. This is checkmate here. And the other 2 competitors, as soon as the timer goes, like they're like furiously like filling in the numbers, and he's just like taking his time. It's clear he doesn't really know what he's doing and that he was caught. And apparently no one made the connection between Eugene Varshavsky, who previously cheated in a chess tournament, and this guy who is now attempting to cheat in a big money Sudoku event. But it's pretty funny. I'll link the blog post that I made about it. Almighty 100. So, yeah, I was saying the bishop d2 move, I think, wasn't so good because it blocked in your pieces. The way you played up till here was fine. These are all normal moves. I do think you might want to look into the more aggressive way of playing it with d4. As I played against Unifer in one of the earlier games, I like this move, expanding in the center. You can play d3 kind of the slower way, but I just think you might have better results, so you might learn more with d4, leading to more open positions. Yeah, as played, so this knight h2 move, moving backwards, I didn't see the point of that. Maybe you thought I was trying to take your knight or target your knight here. But really, you got to be worried about that d3 pawn, because here I'm threatening to take your bishop and then swoop in with the queen and capture. So that didn't do you any favors. And yeah, after you lost this, it's losing material. It's downhill. But thank you for the game, Almighty 100. Best of luck with your chess improvement. Let's play chess player 4936 next. I'll play e4 in this game. How did he get to the finals, asked Core4. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about Sudoku tournaments, but I would bet that there was less people watching on his way to the finals. So that's probably how he did it. Okay, chess player 4936. We're playing that same opening I mentioned, the Italian game. Now, if he goes into the main line, I might switch it up on him, because he might have been watching from earlier. John, do you plan on publishing endgame books on Chessable? Well, we've got some really good ones on there already. We've got 100 Endgames You Must Know by Jesus de la Villa. That's a fantastic book. Also, I don't know if I'm supposed to announce this, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's not a for certain thing yet, but I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to have Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual on Chessable. We're talking to the publisher, Russell Enterprises, right now, and it's looking almost like just a matter of time that we're going to have that on there. And I'm personally really excited about that because Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual is one of the most highly regarded chess books, period. Not even just on the endgame, just period as a chess book. So that would be just awesome to have on the site. I can't wait for that. So, 100 Endgames You Must Know, great book that we have on the site. And Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual, hopefully, too. Let's play h3. I want to stop the bishop from coming there. d6, I think, is a little inaccurate because he could have tried knight takes e4. However, I mean, black's position is still completely fine here. I'm actually going to move this back because I want to avoid this knight takes e4 trick. Yeah, good to hear that you guys are excited about that. I am too. And again, I don't know when that's going to happen, but I think it'll happen. Anton says that book is above my pay grade. Yeah, it's a beast of a book. Duretzky's Endgame Manual. I was just studying it a few months ago. I was studying the entire Rook Endgame section, trying to improve my Rook Endgames. Thanks, Core4. Caruana recently said he hates studying that book. Yeah, probably because many of the exercises are very difficult. Yeah, there's some tough material in that book. You know what's a ridiculous book, though? Also by Duretzky? Duretzky's Analytical Manual. Terminello, you say that book terrifies you? If you ever look at Duretzky's Analytical Manual, you might have like an aneurysm. It's unbelievable. Like, he gives these positions that are so complicated. I once was visiting Alejandro Ramirez in Dallas, and he's like, hey, do you want to study chess a little bit? I was like, yeah, okay. And he's like, okay, for fun, we're going to look at a position in Duretzky's Analytical Manual. And we just open to a page, like, kind of randomly towards the beginning. And we look at this position. We both stare at it for like 30 minutes, just calculating on our own, just thinking about it. And then we compare notes. I think we probably only figured out about 5% of what Duretzky wanted us to figure out in the position. And then he presents pages and pages of analysis about how there's all these subtleties, and it was just like mind-blowing. Like, looking at that position and then thinking about trying to work through that entire book, I thought to myself, wow, are there people who actually do this in chess? And is that what it takes to become an elite player? So if you ever want to see a book that blows your mind, just look at that one. Avalanche says, what's the line you were talking about with knight takes e4? It is in, well, first of all, here after bishop d2. Bishop d2 is the safer move instead of knight c3. After bishop d2, black can play knight takes e4 here. It leads to an interesting position. But also I was saying, like back here, he just made a move, but let me go back for a second. So right here, whoops, I can't do it. Keeps taking me away. Or sorry, it's d5, not knight takes e4, but d5 is the move after knight b takes d2. Black playing d5 right here. Knight takes e4, if he wants to play it, is best played right on this move instead of bishop takes d2 check. But also even after castles, you know, that's why I played bishop d3. I didn't want to have to think about knight takes e4, d5, forking the bishop and the knight. Okay, so now I think I can win a pawn with d5. Force this knight away, and because my rook and my queen are lined up, I'm going to play queen takes c7 next. Potzer the Master says that's the one Caruana was talking about, the Analytical Manual. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Because for a guy like Caruana, studying the Duretzky's Endgame Manual, definitely more enjoyable than the Analytical Manual. Ooh, I got to think about this capture on d5 eventually here. I'm still going to do it because I'm curious if Chess Player is going to find this resource. So here, very important, he can play this, and he should play that. Because if I take, my rook down here is undefended. If he doesn't play that move, he's in big trouble. He's just going to be down a pawn without compensation. But no, you know what? He still runs into trouble even if he takes here. Because I have knight f3. Knight f3 attacking his rook, defending my rook, and preparing to take. That's a bit unlucky by him. And lucky for me, because I'm just seeing that now. So yeah, this is going to be the answer. Maybe I tricked you, Chess Player 4936. Maybe I had a feeling you were watching my stream. And like, oh, I'm gonna totally impress John now, but then hit him with the knight f3. No, that's just, yeah, a bit unlucky for you. Oh, hey, Almighty 100. You said you were too excited. Yeah, it happens, man. It's not easy to play on stream. Z Nation says, I find it extremely difficult to read Duretzky in general. Yeah. There's a reason that the top players hold him in very high regard. His material is not easy. I think some of his other books are a little bit more digestible. I have them all in a bookshelf over here. A lot of them, that is. Like Dvoretsky's School of Chess Excellence is really good. I actually really like the Yusupov books. The Yusupov series is fantastic. Like Build Up Your Chess. Yusupov School of Chess. Those are just excellent books for somewhat lower rated players. It's a 9-part book series. There's 3 kind of separate levels, and then within those levels, there's 3 books each, so 9 books total. Hey, DJ Chess Dog. Yeah, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. And again, shout out to Chessbay. Chessbay was like extremely dedicated this weekend. She's been putting in so many hours. I can't believe that you're still here, still modding, still watching. Thanks a lot, Chessbay. Crew64 says, I was kicked out of a chess camp run by Yusupov when I was 10 for throwing paper airplanes at him. Is that true? That's pretty hilarious if true. I want to meet Yusupov because he looks like Santa Claus. He's got this big white beard. Dude just seems very jolly. Okay, I'm going to do this. Like box this king in on the side of the board. I don't have a mating net yet, but I feel it's on the way. Good night, Virgis. Do you have any tips on getting better at chess without a coach and just playing online? Without a coach and just playing online. Yeah, so play longer games, definitely. Utilize your resources, especially databases. I mean, you might want to consider picking up ChessBase, for instance. Like ChessBase is top-of-the-line chess software. Reading books, like some of these books I just described. There's lots of ways you can get better at chess on your own. But I would say playing longer games online and rigorously analyzing those games, especially without an engine, is going to be important. Okay, I'm just gathering pawns here. How many chess books have I read? From cover to cover, if I had to put a number on it, I would say not more than 30 or so. But I have a ton of chess books. I probably have 200 or 300 chess books. It's hard to say. But I have a lot of books like I've just browsed through or just bought because I wanted to look at a line or two and didn't really pursue it further. That's such a common thing in chess. Like, it's very easy to just look at a chess book and kind of browse it. Henry Yu says, I just read your article on Eugene Varshavsky, and it all sounded incredible. What made him think that beating Smirin wouldn't cause people to smell a rat? I don't know, man. I mean, okay, so this was over 10 years ago. And back then, cheating in chess wasn't as known or as hot button an issue as it is now. Definitely not. So I think that's why he was given a bit more of a leash in that tournament. As in, they let him play more games than he probably deserved to play. But I remember someone, I think it was Larry Christensen. He was not playing the tournament. Larry Christensen is an American grandmaster. He wasn't playing, but he ran Varshavsky's games in that tournament through Shredder, which was one of the top engines at the time. We box his king in, so he only has 2 squares to go to. And Christensen, like halfway through the tournament, was telling people that, hey, this he's matching Shredder like almost 100%, like on all his moves. So at that point, now here I can make a waiting move, any waiting move really, just to get him to play king h8, and I can mate him with rook h6. So at that point, the tournament directors did start following his games more closely, watching him. And as I wrote in that article, there was one game where he just like dropped a piece on move 10 once the organizers were watching him. It was very clear he was, you know, at maximum probably 14, 1500, like a much weaker player, not capable of beating grandmasters. So yeah, I don't know why he thought he could get away with it. I mean, it's like, look, in chess, there's virtually no luck. The best players almost always win tournaments in chess, and it's just not possible for like a floor 2200 to have a tournament like that. Really, like, I mean, okay, it's statistically possible, but it's so rare. Thinking you could get away with it is just ludicrous. At minimum, people are going to rigorously scrutinize your games and compare them to the computer. Okay, chess player 4936. So like I was saying, yeah, the equalizing line for black here, after knight b takes d2, is to play d5 and try to strike back in the center. Kind of like I was talking about earlier, it's important to try to take down white's pawn center before it's allowed to just run roughshod in the center and allow me to play moves like e5 and d5. So yeah, d5 is what you want to do. Hitting this bishop, hitting this pawn. I'll take, you'll take back. Both sides will castle. And I think this position is roughly equal, the resulting play. Black has a sound pawn structure. You've got 2 pawn islands to my 3. White does have some temporary activity to make up for it, like, you know, queen b3 is possible here. Black usually reinforces like that. Or, sorry, I think that's before castling. Yeah, queen here before castling. And then black can play knight here, or knight a5 is also possible, like this. But that's what you want to do. Knight b takes d2 and then d5 right away. Or this sharper line taking here is also possible. And then the theory centers around this continuation where white wins the piece back. But black's also doing well here. All right. Wander Gissel, you're up. You're up, man. You've been waiting patiently. It is time. I'm probably not going to last too much longer here, guys. Yeah, I've been streaming for, looks like 2 hours, 20 minutes. As usual, I said I was going to keep it to a shorter stream, but it's been such an enjoyable thing tonight. It's been going almost as long as yesterday. And thanks to the 682 viewers that are still here. This is a lot more viewers than I usually have, so I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so this is a high quality opening. Wander Gissel is 1914, so he's a good player. He's playing the Queen's Indian defense. How many chess books have you finished this year? I would say none. I haven't read any book from start to finish this year. Any chess book, that is. I am reading a book about Richard Feynman, the physicist. Surely you can't be serious, Mr. Feynman. That's been very entertaining. I like that book a lot. Not a chess book, though. Henry Yu says, oh, I'll be honest, John, I'm keeping your stream on while making corrections on my dissertation. That's okay. You can keep it as background noise. Oh, it's Feynman? Feynman, okay. It's one of those names like I've basically just seen in print, so I'm not sure how to pronounce it. That's good to know, though. Okay, so pretty standard moves here. I could try to do a discovered attack against his rook, like move my knight to e5 or something. But it's not necessary yet, and he could easily defend against it, so. A3 is tempting, but I'm going to play kind of a weird move, bishop f4. I'm going to try to prove that this bishop is a liability on b4, and maybe go a3. Shmazur Bao says, it gets pronounced both ways, actually. Well, based on all the people who jumped to correct me and say it was Feynman, sounds like that's the more accepted pronunciation. But I appreciate you saying that. What books do you recommend to a 1400 player? One book I really like is Tune Your Chess Tactics Antenna. I've recommended that book quite often. Also, Amateur to IM is really good by Jonathan Hawkins. Let's go here. Queen c2. Now I can avoid doubled pawns if he ever takes. I have the option of taking with the queen. Also, I might sneak in knight g5. It's not working here, but that's a motif you can remember. I don't think it's working here. Yeah, he takes on e2, so I better take this way. And Bernster asking about books. The Usopa books are really good too. Can't say enough good things about those. Okay, let's go here. Again, like flirting with this knight g5 idea, trying to set up this threat and that threat. How do you deal with people cheating? And Anton says he has the annoying ability to laugh it off. Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, it's sort of inevitable that people cheat in chess, unfortunately. I don't think it's as big of a problem. Like, you shouldn't be paranoid, but it definitely happens. Okay, so knight g5, he's going to take it. And then I take on b7. I think that position's better for me, but I want to keep the tension. Let's keep the tension a little bit more. I'd like to go d5 and block his bishop. Did I get to the safe cracking part yet? No, I haven't, Mr. Doug Wright, in that book, no. McSqueegee, you lost your challenge? I thought I saw you in there. You're down at the kind of towards the bottom, but you're still there. Okay, now let's advance d5. I like this advance, blocking the bishop. He does that in reply. Okay. Bishop g5 or something else. Pull this back to c1. How about the old classic books? Are they still relevant? I'm thinking My System, Nimzovich, or Judgment and Plan, Tartakower. I think that depends on who you ask. Like we were talking about Yasser Seirawan earlier, and he is very anti-Aaron Nimzovich. He says Nimzovich is way overhyped and just gives bad advice in his books. I would say of the older books, I don't think for me any of the like truly older books in chess were too important. I definitely like some of the Soviet era books that came out. You know, Botanik's game collections, for instance, his like autobiography game collection is great. Smyslov, same thing. Kasparov, I think his My Great Predecessors series is fantastic, and also his books on his matches with Anatoly Karpov. Let's go here. I'm going to make way for f4. I don't want to advance and try to attack on the king side now. Are there any books you would recommend for hypermodern openings? Not especially, no. Tiger's Modern is pretty good by Tiger Hillart Persson. If you're interested in G6 specifically, that's a book I would recommend. He's one of the pioneers of that system. Okay. We have a maneuvering struggle on our hands. I don't like my knight here anymore. I kind of want to reposition it. I'd also like to play f4, but I'm worried that after take-take, he's going to play f5, and my bishop here will be undefended. So let's try to fix that. I'm going to defend the bishop. Ever read Yasser's books? Yes, I have. Yep. Okay, rook f8. He's getting ready to play f5. But I'm going to take him up on that challenge. Let's go. We're going to have some pawn tension here. And I think he almost has to play f5, either capture first and then f5 or f5 right away, because I don't think he wants this pawn to come up here. and start cramping him further. Then it starts to look like he's lacking counterplay anywhere. So he's probably got to meet me blow for blow here in the center. Yasser has a book that is all about double rook sacks. I haven't read it, but it looks cool. Is that true, Anton, or are you just trolling? I don't think that's true. All about double rook sacrifices. Yeah, Life and Games of Mikhail Tal. That's one of the best chess books too. Yes, I have, Avalanche. What are the worst mistakes that you've made during a chess match? As far as blunders go, I mean, some blunders stand out. Surprisingly, he didn't play f5. Okay, so I'm going to play f5 myself, like I was saying. I vividly remember losing to like a 1200 when I was rated 2000 in an important tournament in the first round. That hurt a lot. I also remember blundering a rook in a game when I was about 14, just straight up blundering a rook. That was also painful. The famous thing in chess is that you always remember your painful losses more than your best victories. And I definitely think that's true. The losses really hurt in chess, the memorable losses. Okay, so he's kind of, yeah, he's playing around my pawns and maybe trying to go bishop g5 next. Maybe he's trying to go pawn g5 even and truly close it up. Tempted to play bishop g5 here. Also bishop h3 comes to mind. And h4 even. What about h4? h4 looks interesting. Let's do that, because that stops him from playing g5 and bishop g5. Well, actually, it doesn't stop him from playing g5. He totally could play that move if he wanted. Nah, that might work out in my favor, though. I don't know. Pop-Tart Connoisseur just subscribed. I love that username. That's a great username. Thanks, Pop-Tart Connoisseur. Okay, let's go here. Trying to watch this time a little bit too. I feel like I've been neglecting looking at my clock throughout these games. Okay, here. Do I have some chance for some tactics? Probably not. Not yet. I am going to take here, though, first and foremost. I want to go f6. But then he takes here, check, I take, he takes with the knight. And then I don't see a real effective follow-up. All right, so let's go knight f3 instead. I want to have this king, though. I want to attack the king on h8, so I'm thinking king f2, or maybe even queen h4 first. I don't know. Queen h2, rather. Yeah. Swing this guy over. Eventually want to target this. Okay, keep shifting resources over. I think he's going to double. Double the rooks. Then I'm almost ready to play g4, though. If I play g4 right now, he can take with his rook, which is a nice resource. I think I need to move my knight here. Let's do this. And I might even evacuate my king. Like, definitely play king e1 or king e2. Ideally, I'd have my king over here, just far away from where all the action is taking place on the king side. Are there any resources or good ideas for playing against a much weaker player without making it horrible for them, but still instructive? My 9-year-old nephew is interested in chess, but stands no chance against me. You could play with material odds, Lager Bear. You could definitely do that. So you could start without your queen or something against your nephew. Okay, so my evacuation plan is in progress. And I'm thinking about g4. Ooh, now f5 does become possible. Ooh, I really like the look of f5. I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to think much about it. It's just such an appealing move. He can't take with his queen, because I would have bishop takes d7. I don't know how sound this is, but it's real interesting. Looks tough to deal with. Yeah, I don't think this is the greatest idea actually for me, but it adds another attacker on h7. g4 is coming, maybe rook h3 after that. It's time. Time. Bishop c8, yep. I think he has to play that move. Now, for my next trick, let's play g4. Probably take the bishop. Let's recapture it this way. Ah, he has knight g4. Ooh, I missed that he has that. I thought I was still on h7. This is not good anymore. I might be losing this game. Gonna need another Scandy swindle, guys. I'll try my best to keep pieces on the board. Queen there, okay. Gotta try to keep queens on somehow. I feel like one of us is lagging. Ah, nice. He found a good way to simplify. Yep. I think he's going to win if he plays this right. I'm trying some desperation now, guys. Otherwise, he just collects my pawns over here. This is 5+5. Shakasen. I'm liable to lose a lot of rating points if this keeps up. Oh, I could have just taken his rook. I could have just taken his rook and I didn't do it. Oh my. I mean, the position is still a little unclear, but that was a free rook right there. Guys, man. Oh, this is brutal. Okay, let's go f6. I'm not sure what to do here. Masterfully played chess by everyone involved here. Oh, man. Well, the bad thing is he has these outside pass pawns. I'll take that one, I guess, but Yeah, he has some really, like, if I check him, I just lose that pawn end game. So I can't do that. For some reason, I assumed he could take on b2, and he must have as well. That was mutual blindness. That pawn is sprinting. All right. I guess I'll do this. Yeah, problem is I always lose the pawn end games if I attempt to stop him. Not much to do. Yeah, knight d7 was not going to work. Trying some last-ditch tricks here. But I think that's going to be it. Okay, Wander Gissel, you win. Nice one. Good game. That was a funny ending to that one. Yeah, rook takes b2. Whoops. Yep, thanks for the game. You played well with, what was it? This position right here, bishop c8, taking, and then knight g4. I missed that knight g4 was possible, forking. I was only looking at rook g2, and then I thought I would just move my queen somewhere. How much rating did I lose? I don't know. Was that an unrated game? It was unrated. Whew. Fortunately for me, it was unrated. Yeah, I don't know about g4. G4 probably wasn't... Well, yeah, in retrospect, it was definitely a blunder. I think this whole idea is just bad, though. f6, maybe a little optimistic. And I think after this happened... Yeah, maybe after c5, you should just take the pawn as opposed to taking on a2. Because when you take on a2, at least I have some faint hope of counterattacking with the d6 point. So maybe just take on c5 like this. That should win pretty easily. Keep d6 defended. You'll win that pawn next. I guess I could do something like this and try to hold out, but it should be losing. Yeah, good night underscore pre. If you had taken the free rook, what's the evaluation of the endgame with 3 knights or 3 pawns for the knight? Let's look at that. Yeah, you know what? Again, maybe I have a problem with knights moving backwards. Remember, I blundered my queen the other day, missing a backward knight move from my opponent, and here I did not see knight takes b2 as possible until after the fact. Got to work on that. Yeah. So what's the evaluation if this happens? I don't know. Actually, it still looks pretty bad for white because I think b5 is a good move. b5, and then this a pawn is starting to run. This knight is actually really poorly placed to stop it. Yeah, it still looks bad. I don't have a pass pawn myself. You can start bringing the king up, the h pawn. I don't know. Like, white can still play to blockade. I guess this is an idea you might have to watch out for. And I bring my king up to get in front of your h pawn, but that'd be interesting if that happened. Yeah, Wanderer Guy Soul is saying the same thing. This might be possible. Okay, I think I'm going to play 1 or 2 more games. B-Ferg 88. Let's play D4 this game. According to what I'm seeing, we have 666 viewers. That's ominous. Oh, now it just changed a little bit. Good. All right, I'm going to play a simple system, the exchange variation. Getting close to midnight here. Yeah, Zizak, knight d3 in that position we were analyzing, I think was pretty good. Let's play bishop f4. This is all theory. Yeah, because after knight d3, it's hard for black to advance the queenside pawns, you're right. If b4, the knight can always pivot back to b2. But still, it feels like white is just playing for a draw there. I think it is probably a draw, if I had to guess. Yeah, time for bed soon, Anton. So black can play like this, but I already sort of like this variation for white. This is coming from someone who's tried this variation for black, but this bishop on c8 could be a problem. It's locked inside the pawn chain. So usually black plays bishop d6 here, and white drops it back to g3. Freedom, that's pretty harsh. I would say his chances were much better than 1 in a million against me. 1 in a million is... I mean, I'm not even sure a pure chess beginner has less than a 1 in a million chance against me. It's got to be higher. Wonder Gissel was 1900, man. Give him some credit. Freedom. All right, let's castle. I wonder if B-Ferg's going to go for E5. Not yet, at least. Felix Chess says, I got to work tomorrow. It's your fault. I'm awake. Shame on you. Your boss will understand. Terminal says, how do you play against knight a5 here? Do you mean knight h5 like you just played? We'll find out. I think I'm going to take, first of all. I almost have shots against this knight. Like bishop takes h7, knight g5 check. Don't think it's quite working, though. Because he can go to g6. And I guess I have knight takes f7. There. Yeah, it's probably not so sound. Knight e5 is probably a good move here. Knight e5, knight takes, bishop takes h7, king takes h7, queen takes h5 check, and then pick up the knight on e5. Let's try that. Terminal says no, knight a5 and also knight b4. Well, knight a5 doesn't really threaten anything, does it? I mean, if he ever plays this, I'm not that concerned about the knight coming into c4, so I think I just ignore that. Knight b4, if it hits the bishop, usually you want to drop it back to b1 in this line. I don't think those moves are scary. You shouldn't be worried about them. Okay, f4 is the usual move to prop up the knight. Can also just think about taking on c6. I think I'm going to take on c6. Wander Gissel, I don't know why the chat's roasting you. I think only Freedom. You definitely do not deserve to be roasted, man. You beat me fair and square. Okay, F4, C5. F4, C5. I'm going to do this. I want to lock down this C5 square. Hey, Eklavia. Are you caffeinated enough for this long session? How are those Starbucks levels? Yeah, I ran out of coffee a little while ago, but it's all right. I've had a lot of coffee today, so definitely got my caffeine intake in. So I'm curious how Beefburger is going to play this. Does I know what I would play here? I think if he doesn't play the move that I have in mind, he's going to get strangled. No, the chance has got to be higher of him winning better than 1 out of 10,000. That's way too low. Okay, the move I think he had to play there was e5 to break in the center. Because now I get a chance to play f4, and I think this is a very unpleasant clamp. Basically because he doesn't have any good pawn breaks. This bishop in particular is going to be feeling the hurt. No, if I were to guess, I'd say 1 in 80, maybe? That doesn't sound too far-fetched. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to attempt to swap knights and then take with the rook. I want to emphasize this bad bishop and potential pressure on the c6 pawn. Okay, Almighty 100. Probably not this stream, but future stream. Benny, I'm just playing viewers today. That's all I've been doing on this stream. Yeah. Okay, here. Queen h5, very tempting. Attack this guy. And if he plays g6, I'm going to go bombs away and sack. And then an eventual rook lift. I think this is just winning. John, admit it, when you play with low-rated players, your mindset goes to low level of thinking. I don't think that's necessarily the case. No, I think I'm fully capable of playing at a high level against low-rated players, but I'm also looking at the chat and doing other stuff, so it's not... He played a good game, but it's hard to focus 100% when you're looking at chat and doing other things. Yeah, rook e7. I think that was essentially a force move. And now I'm just going to retreat the bishop. Yes, I blame you guys. That's right. I'm blaming you guys for my loss. E5 finally was played. Let's take once, open some lines. Queen g5 check. And then if he blocks with the rook, I'm going to take on e5 with the queen. Like that. Thanks, Benny. Let's do this. I want to work my bishop into e6. How long did it take you to become an IM, and what age? Became an IM when I was 20, and I started playing competitive chess, I think when I was like 10 or so. So let's say 10 years. It's a fair estimate. 10 years of competitive chess playing. Okay, here, don't blunder that, John, because if I played rook takes b7, queen takes g2, checkmate would be highly embarrassing. So let's just do that first, and then take the bishop. Very important. Actually, I'm trying to remember when I played my first rated game. Might have even been later than 10. Might have been more like 11 or 12 even. I'll have to check on that. Try to keep trading here and gathering more material. Core 4 asks, is getting to master level feasible if you train an hour a day? Starting from scratch, assuming you're playing tournaments as well, maybe. It'd have to be very directed, though. And you'd have to be playing a lot of tournaments. Thanks, Anton. Yeah, emote stuff will be on the way. Okay, getting another queen here. Twitch for Fun cheered 100 bits. Said GG for the stream. Thanks, Twitch for Fun. And thanks, Beeford, for the game. Yeah, so Beeford, I think the e5 move was very important right here. I mean, I can see why you wanted to get the bishop out, but it's even more important to have scope for your pieces in the upcoming play. So I think e5 was almost forced to open up the bishop. Once I get this clamp on the e5 square, it's just so tough for you to defend because your pieces don't have a lot of air, and I can block here. There's no e5 on the way. I mean, maybe you can still play something like a5, knight d7, eventually hope to play bishop a6, trade it off, but strategically speaking, I think white is nearly winning here. But thanks for the game. Okay, I'm going to play, I think, one more game. Yeah, we're getting to some repeat challenges now, like Almighty 100. Bigger Oil, if you're still there, let's play. Oh, that's just a 5-minute game. Okay, Felix Chess, you've been in the chat for a while. We'll make you the last game because you're the only 5-5 challenge I see. So good luck, Felix Chess. Core 4 says, how much do you train usually? Core 4, I think it really depends how much I'm playing in tournaments. So if I'm actively training for tournaments, then, it might be 4 or 5 hours a day sometimes, if you total up all the time I'm looking at chess. I'm definitely not training like 8 or 9 hours a day, though. I just don't have that time or motivation to do it. How can I play against you? Well, I'm going to wrap this one up after this game, but in the future, my challenges are open. So if I'm playing viewers, you can challenge me on chess.com. Fin0905. Eviator says, I think expert level is a goal, reasonable goal for a casual player. Yeah, 2,000 rating. I think pretty much anyone can achieve a 2,000 rating if they work hard enough. Yep. I've had this position a lot lately, and honestly, I have not played it very well. I somehow always just get a bad position out of this, even though it's supposed to be good for black. Just castle. Might need to change my strat in these positions. Is chess your primary profession? Yes, Avalanche. Thanks, Chance 10 by 10. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's target this pawn. Zion Kenyon says, I feel like the typical JB watcher is around 30-ish. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think most of my viewers are in their 20s and 30s, and they're pretty casual chess players. A lot of serious chess players watch my videos too, but a lot of casual players, players who've never played in tournaments before, play exclusively online, that sort of thing. What was your rating after your first tournament? I think it was about 1200. I was a decent player before I entered my first tournament. I had played a lot of Scholastic tournaments before that weren't rated. Oh, everyone's putting their age in the chat now. Okay, so it's a pretty wide range of ages. Okay, queen d3. Okay, I'll play d5, or d6 rather. Kind of looking for this move. Or bishop e6, one of the two. Hi, John. I'm a college student who doesn't have that much time to play, but I love watching your videos / stream when I go to bed each night. I find your voice and demeanor so calming. Oh, thanks, Xylophobe. You can definitely doze off to my videos. So I think a3 was a little weakening. I think b3 would have been better. What does the second derivative to a polynomial tell you about the tangent to a curve? If you asked me that 10 years ago, I maybe could answer. Definitely not now. Okay, now I feel like I need to maneuver my knight to attack his queen, but this move looks useful first. Let's do that. Probe the b3 pawn. When will be your next stream, John? That I'm not so sure about. It could be about a week or so, because I have a pretty busy week coming up, as I said a little earlier. But I'll keep you guys posted. You can always check me out on Twitter if you want to see when my streams are coming up. Okay. Knight d7 to c5 is always the tempting maneuver here, but I feel like it doesn't really do much. I might have missed a good moment to play d5, in fact. d5 last move would have been probably stronger. Nah, okay, I'm still going to do this. I think he has some trouble keeping these pawns together. Yeah, I left calculus behind in university. Yeah, so here I can take this pawn if I want. I'm going to do it. Whoa, what is that? Knight d5. That move should not work, because I think my bishop's going to have an out. Let's take first. And then I'm going to go knight e5 and move the bishop back to d7. So hit the queen with tempo. And the bishop is getting pulled back. John, you should do a house tour. Maybe someday. Let's throw this move in first, though, just to make him make this weakening move f3, and then go back here. John sees all this, but he can't get a free rook. Yeah, it's those backward knight moves, man. Could be my Achilles heel. Hey, John, how's the weather? It's been really cold. It was snowing today. Yeah, below freezing. Attack the rook. Rook b2, I think I have knight takes f3. And then bishop takes b2, little shot. John, do you ever plan on hosting a chess tournament at your house for us viewers? Emphatically, no. I think that sounds like a really bad idea. No, okay. Not at my house. I've definitely done meetups before. I've organized meetups with viewers. Bishop g5 hits that pawn. We'll just defend it. Treat this guy. Bishop f1, I can play bishop b5. Look for a swap. Pop-Tart Connoisseur, we went to a regular coffee shop instead of a cat cafe because the cat cafe required reservations. Yeah. John thinks we're dangerous. It can just be a mixed bag when you meet people from the internet. I mean, I like you guys a lot, don't get me wrong. But inviting you into my home, like, sight unseen, I don't know. John, what's your day job? It is chess. It is chess. Let's send this knight in. I love my bishops here. This dark square bishop on the diagonal controlling a1. Super nice piece. Why do you like the Scandinavians so much? Just an opening I've been playing for a really, really long time. So it has definite nostalgic value to me. Yeah, these bishops are just killing white here with the pin. All right, and I won 1 point. So fortunately for my rating, that one game I lost against Wander Gissel was unrated. So yeah, that worked out well. But thank you, Felix Chess. I was pointing to that a3 move as being a mistake. I think you're better off trying to play for b3. Not right away, but maybe queen c2 first. And then just b3. Because when you play a3, you somewhat unnecessarily weaken the b3 square. And unless you're clearly getting in pawn b4, I don't think that move is helpful. And I suppose here, after knight d7, you can keep your bishop here for the time being where it guards a3, but it's a little delicate to play because you can't really move these pawns effectively. I don't think you want to play a4, but you definitely can't play b4 because you lose c4. So black's probably slightly better here if I had to judge it. And Ecstatic Broccoli, thanks for the 100 bits. Says, thanks for the stream, John. Have a great week. Yeah, and thank you guys for tuning in. This is a fun stream. It actually went longer than I thought it would go. It went solid, what, like 3+ hours? So I'll put this on YouTube in about a day or so. Thanks to everyone who played. Hopefully I was able to impart some advice to you guys. And again, congrats to Wander Gissel for beating me. He was the sole winner. Only person to not lose. So, well done. And thanks to the new viewers, too. Again, hope you guys stick with chess. Hope you continue checking it out. If you're coming from the Pro Chess League, watching their coverage, chess is a great game, and I hope you take advantage of all the resources that exist online. Hint, hint, watch my videos. Chess fundamentals, climbing the rating ladder. Do it. You know you want to. So thanks, everyone. Have a good night. And again, I probably won't be streaming for, a week or so, unless I'm able to earlier than that, but I'll keep you guys posted. Hope everyone has a good week. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.